My daughter is missing. She's not answering her phone. She's 8 months pregnant.
I did something horrible to this girl, took her baby, cleaned it up, hid the baby.
This is Brooke Cruz, who'd been hiding a newborn baby in her apartment, along with a trail of gruesome and dark secrets concealed just beyond closed doors.
We were just as shocked as everybody else.
You see the baby, saw that one over the floor. What you're saying, well, this is our baby.
The deeper they dug, the clearer it became that this was a planned act of evil, and the final revelation would leave everyone horrified.
You grabbed my hair, and I pushed her. I grabbed, it was either a utility knife or a blade. And I did cut her, and I took her baby out of her.
On August 19th, 2017, a chilling 911 call came into the Fargo Police Department, North Dakota. The one that would mark the beginning of one of the most horrifying cases in American history.
My daughter is missing. The lady on 3rd floor had came down and asked her if she would do like a mannequin for tailoring. She's not answering her phone. She's 8 months pregnant. She's not answering her phone. She has not been on Facebook. Is she vulnerable or what? No, this is not like her at all.
When 22-year-old pregnant Savanna LaFontaine Greywind went missing from her apartment, her mother, Norberetta, instantly sensed that something was terribly wrong.
Immediately, my heart dropped. I knew something happened to my daughter.
Savanna was last seen heading upstairs after her neighbor, Brooke Cruz, had asked for her help with altering address. But when hours passed and Savanna didn't return, her father went upstairs to Brooke's apartment to look for her. That's when things started to get worse.
Cruz answers the door and says, "Savannah's not here. She left." Savannah's mother then got really concerned. She eventually calls the police.
When officers reached the scene to investigate, they couldn't fathom the mystery behind Savannah's disappearance during the short walk from the 3rd floor to the basement.
Savannah's legs were super swollen and she couldn't walk around very well.
Savanna was already 8 months pregnant, which made walking difficult. Moreover, the car parked in the garage and the wallet left behind at her home pointed to one theory: Savanna never left Brooke's apartment, let alone the complex. Fearing Brooke might be involved in her disappearance, investigators made her their first suspect and decided to search her apartment.
Who is it? Fargo, please.
Hi.
Sorry to bother you. Oh my God, you're tall.
I try.
Hi, my name is Brooke. So what's going on? Yeah.
We're still looking.
Okay.
At this point, she hasn't shown up or anything like
I've
that.
been wanting to ask them.
Is it possible if we take a look in your bathroom?
Yeah. You can look anywhere.
He opened cupboards. He went into the closet in the bedroom, and there was nothing there that would have aroused suspicion.
We got busy chatting. Her dad came up and said that, mom wanted to see her or call her or whatever. And she didn't call. She got up and went out. And that was the last time I saw the girl.
Brooke's apartment was searched not just once, but twice, but investigators found nothing that could place Brooke under suspicion. With no traces of Savanna found at her apartment, officers started searching for other leads.
They started to expand their search, and so now they're checking bus stations, nearby woods and riverbeds. She seemingly vanished without a trace.
Despite exhaustive searches around the neighborhood, officers found no traces of her disappearance. With neighbors offering little to go on, investigators shifted their focus to her family. It wasn't long before they uncovered a troubled history between Savanna and her boyfriend of 6 years, Ashton Matheny.
There was some difficulty between the two of them at that point. They were having some stern conversations about things that he was doing with his life, where they were going to go together.
There was more than one reason to place Ashton under suspicion. The couple's relationship had grown increasingly strained over time, and with a baby on the way, tensions between them had only worsened. In such cases, partners often become prime suspects, but the officers' suspicions deepened when they uncovered a series of disturbing messages between them. To dig deeper into the truth, they decided to investigate Ashton and brought him in for questioning.
This is gonna be a tough question to answer, but had she ever
Slept with anyone?
slept with anyone else?
Yeah, she did. We were talking about that one time Savanna slept with another guy because my brother's girlfriend hooked her up with that guy, and you know I was mad about that, and I was cussing at her. I was like, you know, I hate you because you made her do that. Like you hooked her up with another guy, and no, that the other guy took advantage of her, or not. No, I said because they both did it.
According to Ashton, their relationship started to fall apart when he realized that Savanna had cheated on him with 2 other men. This gave a major alert to the investigators. Could this be the reason Ashton might have hurt Savanna?
Do you remember any of it?
No.
What you would have talked about, or?
No, that was literally the last conversation in our text messages.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause she's like, babe, you remember calling me last night? I said no with a laughing emoji, and she said, you're too much, I can't deal with you when you're drunk. Just talked, like, you know, tried to get a reaction out of me, you know, to make me do something. And one time she did, and I pretty sure I told Kayla. It must have been a while ago they were arguing. This was like years, but not recently. Because this past year and a half, it's just been golden for me and her. It was our prime of our relationship, where everything was going the way we wanted it to. Everything, you know, we're having our first child. Our child was planned. We planned to have our child. She was having over watching her little nephew. She started getting baby fever. You know, I had never been the type of person to ever want a kid, and
Where were you at on Friday?
I was in Grand Forks. I was house sitting for my mom.
Okay.
With Ashton's alibi confirmed and no other leads emerging, Savanna's family began to lose hope. Fear sank in as one question remained unanswered. What possibly could have happened to her?
They're checking for cell phone pings. Nothing. Was it possible that she had given birth, that she was rushed to the hospital, and then they didn't know where? It was a complete and utter mystery.
It's supposed to be a happy time for us. Looking forward to my first grandbaby. Now I don't know.
While the family remained clueless about their lost daughter, investigators pressed on in search of new leads. Not long after, officers discovered another crucial detail. William Hone, Brooke's boyfriend, had been at her apartment the day Savanna vanished. With that information, William quickly became their 3rd suspect. However, to bring him in for an interrogation, they needed a chance. Luckily, they found one.
Coincidentally, William Hain was in a shopping mall parking lot. He backed into another car. There's surveillance video of him getting out and having a conversation with the other driver and then taking off. That gave the police a reason to stop, detain, and question him.
With William being the only witness to confirm Savanna's presence in Brooke's apartment that day, investigators kept pressing him to reveal everything and anything he knew about her disappearance.
Smart enough to know that we're trying to figure out where Savannah is.
Totally get that, dude.
And you know where she is right now.
I don't know where Savannah is.
You know what happened to her.
I have no idea. She left our place shortly after her dad knocked. I didn't physically see her leave our place, but I mean, she wasn't there when I come out the fucking shower.
Was there any conversation then between you and Brooke about Savanna or Savannah's dad coming up, or?
No, I started telling her about my day.
Okay. When that was, were you on your way out, on your way back?
No, I don't remember, I don't remember a good sequence of events for everything that went down with the Gray Winds. I wasn't there when her dad came up the next time, as I was up there when he came up there the first time, but I wasn't there when he came up there the second time, and I don't know exactly what he said, but I know he fucking pissed her the off.
Yeah.
She was going the fuck off about it, when I got back, I'm like...
With nothing substantial found from William about Savanna, investigators arrested him for an outstanding traffic warrant. At last, 4 days after Savanna's disappearance, the investigators got their first major break. Finally, the silence was starting to crack. They found that William's boss was planning to bail him out of jail, which instantly raised suspicion. Did the boss know something about Savanna? But instead, he dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming.
On Monday, I told him congratulations, because he mentioned that his wife had the baby over the weekend.
The same weekend, Savanna Graywin went missing.
What did he say exactly?
Nothing, that it was a rough week. He didn't get much sleep because of the baby.
At that point, the cops were just shocked. We were all shocked.
From that moment on, the doubts only grew stronger, especially after investigators uncovered a shocking twist. Brooke had a newborn baby. That changed everything. Now more suspicious than ever, they wasted no time and headed straight to Brooke's apartment with a search warrant in hand. But nothing could have prepared them for what they found inside.
Brooke's like, what? What's going on? The police are examining the home, and as Detective Swan is in the bedroom, out of the corner of his eye, he detects some movement.
And lo and behold, on the bed, between some pillows, is a tiny baby girl.
The tiny baby girl found inside weighed less than 5 pounds, but appeared healthy in every way. Whose baby was this? And where did she come from?
Nobody went in thinking they were going to come out with a living infant. It was shocking.
With everything turning into a tangled mystery, the investigators quickly arrested both Brooke and William and took them straight to police headquarters for questioning.
Sounds good. All right. Well, sounds like but yeah.
They were put in separate rooms, each facing the same team of detectives.
Sure, absolutely.
That's why we're...
At first, appeared like she was trying to be the good Samaritan.
All I know is I was asked to take care of the baby for a short period of time, and that's what I've done. Above and beyond that, I probably should talk to her.
According to Brooke, the baby actually belonged to Savanna. She claimed that Savanna had shown up the day she disappeared and handed her the baby, asking Brooke to care for the child while she took time to sort out her life.
And I, well, what's wrong? You shouldn't be crying. I should be really happy with her. And she was just sick of it. She felt like she was doing, pulling all the weight for the family and doing this and doing that, and wasn't with her boyfriend. Apparently, he had cheated on her, and a couple of times, I guess. And without going into any details, she just said that she was sick of it and wanted to get away. I basically told her how she could break her water and induce her labor and have her baby.
Okay. How would that help her get away?
Because then she could go. She didn't want the baby.
Okay.
She wanted to get away. Didn't tell me anything about anybody she was involved with. She kept it short and sweet. I gotta get the hell away from here. It was a mistake moving back in with my mom and dad. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this baby. I need to get away. And I offered to basically run distractions.
So you help her have the baby?
No, I didn't. She left. And then she came back Saturday, actually.
As the interrogation with Brooke continued, the investigators turned their focus to William for answers.
In William's second interview with the police, after they find the baby, things turn a little more dark.
The baby that's in your house, is that Savanna's baby?
I don't think so.
Whose baby is it?
I can tell you the truth.
That's when everything changed, as he revealed the most shocking information, the one that stunned even the detectives.
Who's seen one? The baby. So messed with that. What all over the floor now? What did you say it will? This is our baby. This is our thing. What did you say to her? What the?
His head is bowed. He talks quiet. Will became more withdrawn, almost as a, we're caught and we're in big trouble here.
All you know is you show up from work one day and there's a baby there.
Yeah.
Does it seem odd to you?
Very.
I've been under the impression for like months now that Brooke's been expecting.
Was she really pregnant? I don't know.
So your girlfriend has a baby.
Yes.
Oh, happy day. She's cleaning up a big bloody mess when you get home from work. That baby had some injuries, well, I don't know.
I wonder if the baby's sort of vaginal. I don't know. What you just told me makes no sense at all.
What I just told you is what happened. What do you guys think? I hurt this girl?
While William had already started talking, Brooke was still holding back, burying the truth under layers of dark, hidden secrets.
I don't know what he's telling you.
So this was Will. I mean, that's what this comes down to if we're going to get down to brass tacks. How much did you do? How much did he do? Did you do it all together? That's what we're talking about here.
What?
Take that baby.
You think I took her baby?
I think you took her baby.
Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, sir.
What else am I supposed to feel?
I'm sorry that you feel that way, sir.
The story that you told is not believable.
I'm sorry it's not believable. Neither is your assertion that from 1:30 until 3:30, I did something horrible to this girl, took her baby, cleaned it up, hid the baby. What?
Where was Savanna when her dad came knocking
What
on
am
the
I,
door?
super freaking human?
Where was Savanna when her dad knocked on the
You
door?
know what? I could have sworn he looked and made eye contact with her.
Well, he didn't see her.
He looked right in my apartment, and you know what? Don't get me started on Gray ones, because their story has changed a lot. I don't know what you're talking about. No, I don't. All I know is I was given that baby to take care of until sometime this week, and I did. Okay then. So why am I not being charged with anything?
Because we want to hear your side.
Why am I not free to leave?
We want to know where Savanna's at.
I don't know where Savanna is. With all the bullshit that I just talked.
Brooke, they're going to find her blood in your goddamn apartment.
They're not going to find her blood in my goddamn apartment.
They're going to find her blood.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Will told us what happened. Yep. He told the whole damn story. He was sick. He was visibly sick, telling us what happened.
It was increasingly frustrating for the detectives as, instead of cooperating, she became defensive and even aggressive, especially when they confronted her with the truth.
You told Will a lie that you were pregnant.
No, I
and you
was
saw
pregnant.
how happy it made him.
No.
You wanted to keep him around.
That's not true.
You thought he was going to leave you.
No.
You couldn't give him a baby.
No, that's not true.
You knew what you had to do.
I thought he was going to leave me if I couldn't give him a baby?
That's Will's perspective.
Despite all the lies and drama Brooks spun, the DNA test told the truth. The baby was Savanna's. But even with that confirmed, the gruesome reality of the story was still far from being uncovered. The real question now haunted everyone. Where was Savanna? Nothing made sense until, just 8 days after Savanna's disappearance, a shocking 911 call came in that broke the case wide open.
911, what's the address of your emergency? I'm on Red River in a kayak, and we have found what looks to be a body in a bay. It's duct tape. It kind of looks like head in the water, butt hung up in the air. It smells.
A young kayaker discovered what appeared to be a human body wrapped in plastic. Immediately, the investigators' suspicion grew. Had they just found Savanna? Without wasting much time, investigators reached the banks of the Red River in Fargo, North Dakota, fearing that their worst nightmare was about to come true.
She was completely surrounded in plastic and duct tape, so you couldn't see her. It just seemed that the river would be a likely place to try to hide something.
The body was pulled out of the river at about 9:20. That body was identified as Savanna Graywind.
On her foot, there was a tattoo that said, "Too beautiful for this earth." It's our belief that the body probably was initially at the bottom of the river, and due to decomposition and the gases that a body produces is what maybe brought the body to the surface and started moving it down the river.
The body was found in a gruesome condition. The way it was sealed in plastic wrap and duct tape made one thing clear. Her body had been moved and deliberately dumped into the river. All the findings strongly indicated Brooks and Williams' involvement in Savanna's murder. Within a short time after the body was discovered, the couple was charged with conspiring to murder Savanna.
The state had never offered her anything but the maximum sentence. Part of her agreement was that she give us a debrief as to exactly what had happened.
Hoping to extract the truth in exchange for a lighter sentence, officers brought her in once again.
I want to say no later than a week before Savanna went missing, so a week before the 19th of August. And it might not have even been a week. There was no baby, naturally, so he and I we had words. It wasn't really necessarily knockdown, drag out like we had previously. But I told him that I thought I might need to go to see a doctor because, my mind was starting, logically, if there was something going on. And so I knew that it was probably all in my head. And he said to me that you're just going to get there and they're going to tell you that you're not pregnant. And so this was the point when I realized that, okay, I'm not pregnant. So I desperately wanted a baby still. I mean,
After realizing that she wasn't pregnant, William and Brooke set their sights on Savanna's baby. What followed next was nothing short of monstrous.
a couple days after that, he mentioned Savanna. He said that he saw her downstairs on his way up. I don't know where he was coming from, work or something. And that she was, in his words, very pregnant. And then that Saturday, I did go down and get her, and I asked her to come up. For reasons that I stated for the sewing. I told myself at the time, I justified because I was going to take her baby. I mean, that, I guess was the ultimate goal.
According to Brooke, shortly after she called Savanna into her apartment, a fight had broken out over her lost cat, which she claimed had been stolen by Savanna's family.
We got into a scuffle. Like there was a scuffle. And she grabbed my hair and I pushed her. And when I pushed her, she fell and she hit her head, back of her head on the sink. And she landed right there. Like that was where it happened, was on my bathroom floor. Like her head was like right by the toilet and her feet were at the door. And so I grabbed, it was either a utility knife or a blade. And I did cut her. And I took her baby out of her. And I wrapped the baby.
But Brooke's cruelty didn't stop there. Savanna was still alive when she had cut the baby out of her. However, the real horror began when William's role came to light, completely shocking the detectives with the true extent of the crime.
But at some point, very shortly after that, Will tries to come in the bathroom door, but he can't get the door open because her feet are there. So he opens it a little bit, and he sticks his head in the door, and she's laying there. And he goes, what the fuck are you doing, or something like that. And he shut the door. And when he came back in, I moved her legs out of the way so he could get in. And when he came back in, he wasn't wearing any clothes, and he had a rope in his hand. And he put the thing around her neck and he tied it. And he said, well, if she wasn't dead before, she is now.
Brooke was charged with 3 counts, a maximum life sentence without the possibility of parole for committing murder, up to 20 years for conspiracy to commit kidnapping, and 163 days in jail for lying to law enforcement. After getting a confession from Brooke about the murder, investigators turned their attention to William, determined to extract the whole truth, finally exposing the true horrors of that fateful day.
You just didn't see it. The baby was like right there. A little bit, like I didn't want to go out and spend money for a crib right away because I've been trying to get caught up on rent to make sure the electric don't get shut off. Sounds good. Yeah, baby. Where was the bed? Was it like in your bed? It was like right there in the bedroom on the stand. Just a little, like, she made a bed out of a suitcase is what we were going with. Like, I think it was a suitcase. Just like on a dresser or something like that. And that was going to be our lady bed. Sure.
After completing the couple's interrogation, investigators realized that their confessions didn't quite line up.
Brooke tells us that after the murder, that they had put Savanna's body behind the tub. There's a little panel in the linen closet that you can remove.
And we put her in the bathroom closet. Shut the door. Then we got cleaned up.
Step by step, the couple continued to reveal every disturbing detail of Savanna's murder. However, despite searching Brooke's apartment several times, the investigators couldn't find a single piece of evidence that could directly link the couple to the crime.
Nothing was found in this bathroom, which is remarkable. It was an older bathroom. It was a bathroom that had tile. So one would think that if there had been blood in there, it would have seeped in and that it would have remained. But there was no indication of blood.
None of the luminol lit up. There had to be a very thorough clean job. And there wasn't a lot of time to do that because police were already up in the apartment.
Finding no traces of blood just didn't add up to the investigators, especially when everything from cutting the baby out of Savanna's womb to hiding her body in the closet behind the tub had happened right there on the bathroom floor.
By the third search, according to Brooke Cruz, they had already hollowed out a dresser and placed Savanna's remains in that dresser.
We put her into this dresser. He took the face off all the drawers, and then he nailed the face back onto the dresser itself.
Sure.
So that it looked
intact.
Yeah.
They showered there, they ate there, all the while with this woman either in a closet or in a dresser.
Yeah, and then when we put her in, we just lifted the hatch on the truck and tilted the dresser back, up against the bumper like,
Oh,
and
sure.
then she just slid in. So.
Okay, I get it by the legs.
Yeah.
Just before the third house search, the couple had apparently removed the dresser from its place and exchanged it with a basket full of clothes.
They have what's called a consensual encounter. And in those circumstances, they're only allowed to go as far as they can with the search as they give them consent to. It's not a big apartment. There are not many spaces that you could conceal someone like that, or she could even be. We were just as shocked as everybody else.
After obtaining no clear evidence from the crime scene, investigators shifted their attention to Savanna's autopsy reports. What they found wasn't just shocking, it completely changed the story into something far darker.
The medical examiner ultimately identified the wound on Savanna Grayman's body as a crude cesarean section. And ultimately there was a cut from hip to hip that invaded the lower torso, which is where the baby was then expelled and taken from her.
The medical report revealed a 10-inch long cut on Savanna's lower abdomen.
Approximately 7 other small cuts in that same area of the body. We would probably refer to them as like hesitation marks, where she's trying to assess where to cut or maybe rethinking what she's doing. But it does indicate that there were other attempts made in the cutting of Savanna's abdomen.
Several wrong cuts were made on Savanna's body as Brooke's hands were shaking during the crime. However, it just took one clear cut at her abdomen to paint the brutal picture of the premeditated act.
Did you ever research how to do a C-section?
No, I mean, I saw it. I was obsessed with childbirth. I watched videos.
Never specifically C-section?
Right.
I think that she read about this and she had learned exactly where she needed to cut and how she needed to cut. We also found in the apartment books on things like anatomy and childbearing.
A lot of the searches that were stored on the phone shared between both William Hain and Brooke Cruz were very significant. How long can a baby survive when the mother dies? And can the baby die in a pregnant woman if she doesn't breathe for a few seconds?
Not only that, the report stated 2 causes of death. Savanna was either strangled to death or she died from the severe blood loss during the cut.
And the reason that strangulation could not be ignored was specifically because there was a ligature around her neck. There was nothing found internally on the autopsy that would have indicated that she was strangled other than the fact that she had this ligature around her neck.
Forensics were telling us is the rope could have been used to keep her subdued. Someone has got to keep this blood flow restricted while this meticulous cutting process that doctors go to school for years and that the body remains still, that Savanna remains still, it really couldn't have been done by one person. There was really 2 that had to have committed this.
The revelation was chilling and only pointed to one conclusion. Both Brooke and William were directly involved in stealing Savanna's body and strangling her to death. However, detectives soon realized the depth of their depravity as more disturbing truths emerged. They hadn't just targeted Savanna, but other women as well.
These 2 would have conversations about very deviant behaviors, about sexual behaviors, about kidnapping women and having sex with them.
There's also some indication that they may have used ligatures like that in some play that they engaged in.
Like in a fantasy sort of way, like a fantasy sort of way.
Yeah.
Had you talked about doing things like cutting the baby out?
That and roofing a girl and killing her and all kinds of different things. His discussions with me regarding killing a girl got really bad, but I just kind of put it off to him drinking because he had a drinking problem. So I thought it would be okay. we could get away with something like this. And he felt the same way.
That to me that I better have a baby, and it didn't matter how I got it.
Not just one, there were several pieces of damning evidence directly tying William to the crime. Just 3 days after Savanna's disappearance, William was caught on camera buying baby diapers and infant formula from Walmart, which strongly suggested that William knew far more than what he was letting on. In other CCTV footage, just a day after the incident, William was seen buying duct tape from the store, clearly indicating that he was well aware of the plan beforehand.
Before she went, wait a minute, he had to have purchased the duct tape before, because she was already in the dresser when he came up. And we didn't take her back out after she was in the dresser. So he had to have purchased it either Saturday night or Sunday afternoon. And I do know that he purchased it at the Ace Hardware store.
William Hain had at least one other child he was convicted of abusing and hadn't seen that child since that child was a young infant.
I was 100% under the impression that Brooke and I were going to have a baby that was genetically, our baby was going to come out of Brooke's womb.
To shatter the claims of Brooke's pregnancy, investigators presented several pictures of Brooke and William in public, taken shortly before the day of the incident, in court.
He knew I wasn't pregnant. I mean, he might have known like I did, like in my deluded state, that, you know, I wanted a baby so bad I had convinced myself I was pregnant.
We had images of her from various stores that she had gone to as recently as the day before Savanna Greywind went missing. It is clear to everybody that she is not pregnant.
After all the gathered evidence was examined, William Hone was convicted of conspiring to commit Savanna's murder and kidnapping, as well as providing false information. However, what followed was nothing close to what they'd expected.
Everybody wants to think that Brooke and I wanted to run away to the sunset with this baby, and that's not the case at all. Like, I had no part in any of the planning of this.
The question is, did he help murder Savanna?
He did purchase the tape that's consistent with the tape that was found wrapped around Savanna Greywind's body when they found her in the river.
He disposed of his bloody shoes, the towels that were used to clean up the blood. He was seen buying baby diapers at Walmart. And then, as if there's not enough drama that Savanna's family had to endure, still one last shocker.
We, the jury, do find the defendant, William Henry Hain, not guilty of the crime of conspiracy to commit murder.
With justice served, Savanna's family tried to get their lives back to normal. As for Savanna's daughter, she was raised by Savanna's boyfriend, Ashton, and became a symbol of hope and strength for the family.
We have this wonderful video of the baby pointing to a picture of her mother and actually seems to recognize the picture.
Dude, mommy. I'm trying to make her first word, mama.
The baby was living evidence of an unspeakable crime.
Move out of the way. Here, I'll get this one.
Where were they? Hey, were they in water or were they on the bed?
They were
Okay.
Let's
check their eyes. Check their eyes.
You put it down for a nap a while ago.
Check their eyes.
They were leaving.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're okay. You're okay. No, it's okay.
No.
These were the distressing moments at a crime scene where a mother had brutally taken the lives of her own children. But when the first responders arrived, they had no idea about the house of horrors that awaited them.
Holy shit. There's 3 of them.
Oh my God, my babies.
I
My
got a
beautiful
supervisor right
babies.
here.
Look at my
I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Okay?
I just get babies right here. Yeah, please hurry. Please hurry. Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Put them down for a nap. They've been dead for a while. Because they're still. Oh my God. I'm on the phone with my mom right now. I'm going to take a nap right now. She just. Oh my God.
Ma'am,
oh my God.
officer's coming out to you, but I need some information. Are you out of business?
Yes, it's my neighbor. A mobile home on the property. There's a mobile home on the property.
Okay.
Oh my God.
It began with a frantic 911 call from Perla Reboledo Velasco in South Phoenix. She was sobbing, saying the kids wouldn't wake up. When police arrived at the small trailer, they had no idea they were walking into a nightmare.
Where were they?
They were taking it out right here. Yeah, the cops are here.
I know, it's okay. It's okay.
Were they on the bed? They were leaving.
It's okay. It's okay. You're okay. You're okay. No, it's okay.
No. Please, no.
You can see.
Baby.
Okay, hey, I know. Let's go outside. They keep on going back inside.
Responding officers reached the house within minutes. The scene was spiraling fast, completely out of control. The entire street was flooded with paramedics, ambulances, and squad cars. The chaos was overwhelming. At the scene, cops found 3 adults. They began questioning the woman they first encountered at the scene.
Rachel, is it R-A-C-H-E-L?
She was 22-year-old, the mother of all 3 children. Officers found her on the floor, trembling, barely able to speak.
And this is where you live. And what's your last name? Henry. H-E-N-R-Y? Yes. All right.
Soon after, they came face to face with a father right there at the scene, watching it all unfold.
We're going to have to go to the front of the house, Kay? Let's go over here real quick, Kay. They'll talk to you over there. You all right? Let's go. We got to go over here this way.
His name was Pedro, the children's father. He looked stunned, barely able to process what was happening.
Were you inside at all? Yeah. Earlier. Before this went down. I was sleeping, yeah.
Lastly, they spoke to the woman who had made the 911 call, Perla Reboledo, the father's aunt. She was pacing, shaking, her voice uneven as she tried to explain what happened.
Pull him down to get help, give him CPR. He was stiff. They were dead. There was no CPR going to save him. And so I got up, and Rachel was screaming over the baby, and I said, "Give her CPR, Rachel." And I came outside, and I said, I came all the way over here to the shop. I said, and Cesar was like, "What happened?" And Oliver, they were like, "What happened?" I said, "The babies were dead." And he says, "What?" That I went back inside the house, obviously tried to give more CPR, but it's
okay. It's okay.
Inside the trailer, another team of officers worked to secure the scene, while paramedics fought desperately to revive the children. 3 small children were lying motionless on the couch. The paramedic team started CPR right away. They followed every procedure, checking pulses, trying to resuscitate, but nothing was working. The kids weren't responding, and by then, the silence had already started to speak louder than anything else in the room. 3-year-old Zane, Maria, who had only just turned 1, and baby Catalia, barely 7 months old, were all found dead. The paramedics confirmed it at the scene. All 3 children were gone, and their bodies were sent for autopsy. But something was definitely not right. 3 young kids don't just stop breathing in their own home. Someone had to know why. And soon, what started as a tragic discovery turned into a deeply disturbing investigation. With 3 kids declared dead and no signs of foul play from the outside, the next question was obvious. What exactly happened inside that house? The officers needed answers, and they began by speaking to the adults at the scene, Rachel, Perla, and Pedro. First, they pulled Rachel aside.
I'm so sorry.
We went to WIC today to try and because they were sick. And we were trying to get an appointment, and I told her so many times, please take me to the doctor, please take me to the doctor, and she wouldn't. And I've been giving them ibuprofen because they're sick and they have brain fever, they're not feeling good, and the baby's teething, and they had fevers and everything, but she still wouldn't take them to the doctor. She never wanted to take me to the doctor. No!
I need you to stay out here with me. I need you to stay out here with me, okay?
No!
Yep, I need you to stay, okay? Just have a seat for me.
Please, no, my baby. She kept telling me to clean the house. Everyone wanted me to clean the house. I was cleaning the house. I did laundry. I was cleaning it. I thought they were sleeping. They fell asleep watching a movie. And Dad came home and he was laying on the couch. And I told him to watch him. He's been laying on the couch since he got home. And then we went to go get pizza. That's what I thought. And then I went to check on him and his mother again. Oh.
No, I need to stay right
I told him to check on them. I told him to check on them. Please no.
Rachel began to talk, but her thoughts were scattered. She told the officers that the kids hadn't been feeling well. They had fevers, the baby was teething, and none of them were eating properly. She said she kept asking to take them to the doctor, but no one helped. So according to her, she stayed back, gave the kids some ibuprofen, and tried to manage things at home. Later, Pedro, the father of the children, came home. Rachel said she asked him to watch the kids while she stepped out briefly. But when she returned, they were still lying there, just like before. At first, she thought they were still asleep. But then Pedro took a closer look. He was the one who realized something was wrong, that the kids weren't breathing.
Were they both inside the house the entire time?
No, I think just him.
Just Pedro?
Right, I think.
And
She
they
said
were
they
together?
went to go to Wick.
Their last trip, they went to Domino's to pick up pizza. And Pedro was the only one here. And Pedro was here. Okay. And then they came back and Pedro's freaking out. So they show up. He's flipping out. Haven't called 911 yet. And they get here. Yeah. And they call.
According to witnesses, Rachel and the aunt had left to get food. During that time, Pedro had stayed behind inside the trailer. When they came back, he was panicking, screaming for help, yelling that the babies weren't breathing. He hadn't called 911. It was the aunt who eventually picked up the phone and made the call. So now the focus turned to Pedro. He was the only adult inside the house while the children slept, and the cops needed to hear his side of the story. Because if Rachel was telling the truth, then Pedro might be the last person to see those kids alive.
Are you the father, sir? Yeah. To all three? Yes, sir. Pedro, your middle name is...
Genaro.
Okay. How long have you lived here?
8 months.
Who owns?
It might be close to a year.
Who owns the house?
Well,
So you just rent it, or you stay here?
Catalina is your only daughter, right? Catalina? You only have one child? Three? Oh, but the one's Rios and the other two are Henry?
Okay, copy that. We'll leave that job here.
What do you do there? Just a landscaper?
Yes.
Were you inside at all?
Me?
Yeah.
Earlier,
Before this went down?
I was sleeping, yeah.
Sleeping, right?
On the couch.
I got it. Thanks, so.
So, mom, aunt, dad on the other side, and the son also.
Pedro spoke briefly with the officers and shared what he remembered. He said Rachel and the aunt had gone out to grab some pizza. He stayed behind with the kids, who were lying on the couch asleep. After a while, he noticed something didn't feel right. The kids weren't moving at all. He said he tried to wake them, but they didn't respond. That's when he ran outside and called for help. Pedro didn't say much. His answers were short, and he seemed unsure. But something about the situation didn't feel right to the officers. And now both Pedro and Rachel were giving the same story, almost like they had rehearsed it. After speaking with Rachel and Pedro, the parents, only Pedro's aunt, Perla Reboledo Velasco, remained. When the police moved to question her about her knowledge of the events, she confirmed the same timeline that the parents had laid out to the officers.
So what time did you come back today?
I just went to go pick up my nephew, but he came home on his own.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But what time did you just get back?
Me and her just got back. We went. I ordered me and Rachel. I ordered a pizza. I ordered a pizza.
But okay, you and Rachel came back.
I ordered a pizza and I told her,
But
"Come
you
on."
guys left the kids, or was there anybody here?
Yes, it was their dad. Their dad was on. Look, their dad was on the phone with his other son.
Where's the dad?
Is he? He's not in the room. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this out. You know, I'm just trying to get some type of.
He was freaking out. I don't know.
I'm
I
trying
don't
to
know.
keep your.
He didn't do anything. The kids have been asleep since when he got. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Since before he got home from work, they were asleep when he got home, and he was asleep on the couch as well.
Okay.
As Aunt Perla asked for updates about the children, she began to break down as the reality and sheer horror of the situation began to sink in.
And he's telling me, you guys, no, you know what? They're dead.
I don't know anything.
They
I'm
would
talking
have
to you.
taken
I'm
him to the
talking to you.
hospital by now.
All I did was go inside and I just
They
tried to
were
get you.
stiff. They've been dead for a while. All three of them. what the hell did she
already
have
took
given
them out?
them? No, they. But I went to grab him. The boy, and he was just stiff there. He'd been there for a minute. But, oh my God.
So
I just told her.
So when was the last time you actually checked on him?
I was in my room. I haven't checked on him because they were right there in the living room.
Oh.
They're right there in the living room on the couch. That's where they sleep. That's where the kids sleep, in the living room.
Right.
It's a small trailer. My room. I sleep with my husband in my room.
Mm-hmm.
The kids are in the living room, the kitchen, and over there in that front bedroom. That's their area.
Okay.
Oh my God! When I pulled on them, they were stiff. The only one, they were stiff. They had been there for a while. She didn't. They were sleeping. They were. You know what I mean? And I told her, you know what, Rachel? Why you? I said the kids have been taking. That's too long of a nap. They're going to be up all night. You're not going to be able to get no sleep.
Me. I mean, I know that age they still sleep a lot. You know, like 16, 18 hours. You know, and all that. But yeah, you got to wake them up so that they're not up all night keeping you up.
Exactly. That's what the dad was doing. That's what the dad. When he checked on him, he was going to wake him up.
Do you know what time you went to Domino's?
I mean,
did you guys walk by the kids? Everything was fine.
Look, I walked by them, but they were no. I didn't walk by. When I walked by the kids, when I left, they were over here. They were over here on the couch sleeping. She puts them there, covers them up, and they were asleep. And baby, I didn't see the baby.
Okay.
I didn't see the baby. Why didn't?
Even though her timeline matched with what Rachel and Pedro had told the police, officers asked her to reiterate what had happened when she and Rachel returned to the house. Completely unable to hold back her tears, she went through the sequence of events.
And then Pedro said, like, what? Tia.
Yeah, Tia, the baby's not breathing. And I go, what? And I go, let him. And I pulled her in. I had the baby, and I said, Rachel, give her CPR. And then I grabbed her in. I brought her down to the ground. And I started bumping her chest, and she had wipes coming out.
Perla paused, trying to collect herself, as if she were weighing whether to give the officers some important information. Then she dropped a bombshell.
You know what? The girl is weird.
Who? Rachel?
But this was just the beginning. Before the officers could question her further, Aunt Perla began to detail why she found Rachel's behavior strange.
You know what? She gives me too much medicine. She's always doing the medicine. Always doing the medicine. Always.
Do you know what kind of medicine?
Just all that medicine. Send it to her.
The officers' ears were on high alert immediately. Not only was Aunt Perla pointing the finger of suspicion directly at Rachel, but the mention of the medication clearly indicated the manner in which she believed Rachel had taken their lives. Immediately, the officer moved to question her further about the medicines and what they may have been.
Are they under any type of medication? Are they on any type of medication? Or asthma? Anything?
The babies?
Yeah.
Just what she gives them. She probably gave them some medicine to go to sleep. If I know her, like
medicine as in like what? Like
I don't know, maybe Tylenol. I don't know.
NyQuil?
No, NyQuil.
I don't know.
She gives them baby Tylenol.
Baby Tylenol?
In that drawer, she got all kinds of medicine.
After learning what the medicines Rachel often gave the children were, the officers were unsure whether these had been used to take their lives. The dosage required would have been very high, and they were sure there would have been more signs evident if this had been the case. The initial report from the paramedics also stated that it was unlikely the victims had died due to overdose. It seemed more and more likely that the medicine Rachel had given the children was just to help them sleep. However, with the aunt accusing her and the police noticing some oddities in her behavior, the officers began to focus on her as their main suspect. If Rachel had indeed committed this horrific act, the officers would need to find out what her motive could be. The horrific nature of the killings had shaken even the most seasoned of the first responders, who couldn't believe the inhumanity of what they'd witnessed.
What were your observations of those kids? Do you remember?
If I can remember, because I probably stepped maybe 3 feet into the residence. I look over to the left, and I saw them both on the ground. 2-year-old was laying down, I guess anatomically.
Okay.
And her head was, I guess, towards the east.
Okay.
The baby was next to her, turned around with the head towards her feet.
Okay.
And the legs towards her head.
Okay.
And I believe they were wearing pajamas, and face was white, body was normal colored.
Other first responders also recalled the visceral and jarring impact the incident had on them, and the hopelessness they'd felt at the scene when they were unable to help any of the victims.
The
3-year-old was on the bed. The 2-year-old was on the floor with her feet facing us as we were walking toward her. And the 7-month-old was facing paramedic Glover.
Okay.
And paramedic Glover just shook his head. He's telling us, no, they're done. And we went over to the girl, and she had that posture with her arms up in the air, her mouth open, her eyes wide open.
Okay.
And we just kind of looked like, okay. And then our paramedic Zyders came up, and we were getting ready to do stuff. And then finally, you know, they're like, none of them were alive.
Okay.
I did touch the little girl on her shoulder, just to see if it was real. It just almost didn't seem real, dude. It almost seems like something from a TV
It
show.
is, yeah. The first few times you see it, it's, yeah.
I mean, it just seemed so out there, and I just kind of touched her on her shoulder, and she was out of it. I mean, obviously she was out of it, but she kind of felt a little hard, you know. And I mean, these kids to be deceased the way they were, they look like they've been dead for
gone a while.
Yeah, you like maybe I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm not a medic. I'm just a BLS guy. But they look like they were dead for probably 4 or 5 hours too, or so. I mean, at least 3 to 5 hours. I mean, I'm not guessing. That's not my.
Yeah, no, gotcha. But yeah, the way it looked, or the rigidity, as compared to other things you've seen.
I mean, she, you know,
yeah,
like that,
solid and.
And I didn't even get to see I didn't even want to go to the boy. I have a 7-year-old. That is, I have a 5-year-old niece who's always at our house. So it was probably my whole 14-year career working in front of fire department, the worst call I've ever been on.
One firefighter later recalled that when they'd initially arrived at the scene, he'd immediately sensed something was off with Rachel's behavior.
The first thing I noticed was Mom.
Okay.
Mom was crying, talking to the officer. But Mom was not, her cry was a little different to me.
Okay.
Because she was crying, but then she would stop and she would talk normal. And then she would cry and talk normal. It wasn't a cry as a mother or a grandmother or anybody who's lost 3 kids, they would be crying from deep down in their soul, crying hysterically, possibly punching, yelling, crying. There was none of that.
Her reaction didn't seem appropriate for what you guys had been told. Okay.
Exactly. That's the first thing I noticed.
Okay.
With everything seemingly pointing at Rachel, the need to know her motive was growing by the minute. The officers, however, weren't ready to ask her directly just yet, as they didn't want to indicate to her that she was in their crosshairs. So instead, they decided to first speak to Aunt Perla and see what she had to say.
Listen, they were staying with me, and then I kicked them out. No, I didn't kick them out. They went to stay somewhere else because we had a bunch of problems. My nephew started a bunch of shit with my husband and me, and all kinds of shit. Okay. So then they wouldn't let me see the kids for about 5 weeks. So then, and I kept going over there and calling, and she threatened to put the cops on me if I went to look for them again. So then one day she called me and said, come get the kids. They had no place to stay. They were in the street. Okay. And I said, okay. I said, well, you know what? The kids can stay, but you can't. Okay. And so I brought the kids here, and I had them for about. Why can't she stay? Is there a history? They steal from me. They steal from me. They lie. History of drugs. They steal from me. They lie. It's just a bunch of bullshit. But they're stealing from you. Why? You know what I mean? She just takes little stuff. And what's her last name? Henry. Because I think I've run into her before. Yeah, you're probably down here. She was fighting. You dropped her off here one time. So, the police did. Because she was fighting with my nephew. Because I wouldn't let him stay at my house, but then it got really cold. And then it got. Oh yeah, it has been cold, really cold, right? And the babies. And I couldn't. No, the babies. I had the babies here with me, and I let them come back and stay. And plus, I needed to go back to work. It's been weeks. Okay. It's been a month. And it's been fine. Yeah, everything's been fine. Everything's been fine.
Right away, she began to point out the issues she'd faced with Rachel in the past and how she'd kicked Rachel and Pedro out on multiple occasions. But according to Aunt Perla, she had always seen Rachel as a problem and had been worried something would go wrong long before it actually did.
You know, and I told Pedro, I said, Pedro, the girl is weird. I'm afraid we're going to come home one day and find her drowning the kids in the tub. And I swear, oh my God.
Despite her instincts, she eventually allowed Rachel and Pedro to move back in, mainly out of concern for the children, but almost immediately, Rachel began to act unusually.
I can't explain. She's just not normal. She's the type of weird that gets on your nerves. It's like, what are you doing? Like, she'll stare. She'll just be staring. I had made Rachel a plate, which I normally don't do because I think that's stupid and I have to cater to a grown woman. But she was in her weird mood, so I was like, here, Rachel, your plate's right there, eat. So I don't know, she was standing, like, did I do something wrong? She stopped eating. She was like this. And I was like, stop staring at her. You're making her nervous. Look, she stopped eating.
Even after confronting her, Rachel's behavior remained strange over the following weeks, as recently as the visit to Domino's right before the children had been discovered.
I said, come with me real quick so you can go inside and run inside and get this pizza for me. And she's like, you know, I'm like, I don't want to eat pizza. And I go,
Rachel?
Yeah. And I was like, I don't care if you eat it or not. I just want you to ride with me so you can get down, jump down and go in and get it. All you got to do is take the $9, give it to him, tell him, keep the change. Go in, say pizza for Rachel. Give him the $9, tell him, keep the change and walk back out. That's all you got to do, Rachel. Can you do me that favor? Yeah.
That's why, I'm asking, is she on any type of medication? Has she been to UPC, for any type of psychological evaluation?
You know, her mother died last year. She's alone. They were homeless. Pedro, they've been having issues. Pedro, you know what? When I brought him from the park, she's been weird. She's just weird. I don't know.
Rachel's just weird. She's different.
She's weird.
While the aunt had no proof, she believed that Rachel had once again begun using drugs, and this was the reason behind her strange behavior. The cops, too, were inclined to believe this based on her actions at the crime scene. This statement is further supported by Rachel herself, who admitted to using drugs.
First it was weed, and then it was methamphetamine, and then I stopped, and I'm not doing it anymore because I don't want to be like that no more ever again, ever. And I don't know. I want to be a better person, and I want to go back to school. I want to get a better job. I want better opportunities in life, and I mean, I never asked for any of the problems that I had because I was crazy and stupid. I just need that one opportunity that I kept praying for to change my life around and do right. And that's all I want.
What stood out was that Rachel seemed focused on herself, despite the fact that her 3 children had just died.
So anyways, then we ended up moving to Oklahoma, and because my dad ended up getting kidney failure, and he passed away when I was about 15, but then I moved with my mom, and we went in Oklahoma. My mom passed away last year from cancer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and moved out here for a new start, and I mean, I went to school before I came here, and I was pregnant with my baby. And I did CNA, home health aid, and CPR, and I came out here for job opportunities. Like my family was here. I just want to get better in my life. It's awful.
After this, Rachel was taken away from the crime scene to the station for an in-depth interrogation.
All right, Rachel. Detectives are going to go talk to you downtown instead of here because they're already down at their office.
Back at the station, Rachel started revealing the most horrifying part of the story. She told investigators how she'd been home alone with the children that evening. What began as another night quickly turned into something unthinkable. Rachel admitted she first went to her daughter, Mariah. The toddler had been playing, unaware of what was about to happen. Rachel said she placed her hands over Mariah's mouth and nose and held them there until she stopped moving. Then she carried her body into a bedroom and laid her down. But the horror didn't end there. Rachel said that Zane, her son, had witnessed what happened. He became upset and started hitting her, yelling, trying to protect his sister in the only way a small child could. She told police she'd led him into another room where she distracted him by singing lullabies. Once he'd calmed down, she did the same to him. By the time she got to her youngest, Catalea, the house had gone quiet. Rachel said she fed the baby a bottle, waited for her to fall asleep, and then took her life as well. After this brutal triple homicide, she arranged their lifeless bodies on the living room couch as if they'd simply drifted off for a peaceful nap. After this heartbreaking confession, Rachel was held in jail as she awaited trial. Her family was still in shock, mourning the loss of the 3 children. While Rachel was in jail, they had an emotional phone call with her.
Rachel, why did you do that? What happened?
I didn't know what was going on. I told you I felt like I was losing my mind because I didn't understand what you guys were, like, why everyone was acting the way they were. I was on drugs and I was freaking out. I was freaking out and I didn't know what to do, and I know I was scared.
Why didn't you say something, Rachel?
Because I tried to, and you guys kept telling me that I was crazy, and I didn't know what I was talking about. I was stupid, and I was crazy, and I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody.
Rachel.
You don't understand.
You were getting your ID. You were getting your ID to go to work. I was trying to help you. I was trying to get you happy and take you to work, take you to get your ID so
but
you
it
could
was
start
just
work.
the fact that I was always freaked out because, everyone kept acting weird whenever I tried to, talk to anybody. They said I was acting stupid and I was acting crazy, and I didn't know what I was talking about, this and that and the other. I didn't know what was going on.
Oh my God. Rachel. No, who could have fathomed that Rachel? I don't understand. How you say you felt confused? That's how I feel now. I don't understand. How did you do this? Okay, one thing is that you need to go to sleep or you're whatever you're going through. I understand. Okay, maybe maybe we didn't pay enough attention to you. I don't know. I can't understand this. I can't fathom what you said. I can't understand. I can't understand it. I can't. It just don't pass through my mind. And I don't care about stuff or bad I'm feeling or whatever. That does not pass through my mind. And what you did would never pass through my mind. I've never expected you to do something like that, Rachel. What?
I didn't know it wasn't just good. I don't remember doing it because I don't know. It wasn't me. That's the point. I kept telling you that I felt like I was losing my mind. I didn't know what was going on. I tried to talk to somebody. They kept telling me I was stupid. I was crazy. I didn't know what I'm talking about. And every time I tried to talk to somebody other than that, you kept saying that I was making it all about me.
Quit acting weird. Oh, I did. Yeah, you're right. I did. Rachel, I did. I tell you,
because I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody.
The children's father, Pedro, was devastated. What happened was impossible to forget. It was an image that would stay with him forever.
I can't get that image out of my head. The way I found her.
I can't look at the videos yet because it's hard. But one day I will.
I think time's going to be our best friend right now. It's going to take time to heal.
Rachel Henry was arrested in January 2020 after confessing to the murders of her 3 children. She was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. Initially, she pleaded not guilty. However, in late 2024, she changed her plea to guilty as part of a plea agreement. This deal removed the possibility of the death penalty. On February 14, 2025, Rachel Henry was formally sentenced in a Maricopa County courtroom. The judge gave her 3 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, 1 for each child she killed.
The court also finds that each victim deserves to be recognized as an individual victim, and consecutive counts are therefore warranted to consider the impact, obviously, on each victim from Ms. Henry's actions.
She did not make a lengthy statement during sentencing, nor did she offer any apology. The prosecution noted that the case had deeply affected everyone involved, including first responders and investigators.
Some of the personnel, the first responders, are still in therapy and have been affected by what happened, even though this was 5 years ago.
With the sentencing complete, Rachel Henry was transferred to prison, where she will spend the rest of her life.
You're just by himself.
He's been there for a while.
On October 10th, 2023, Milwaukee police walked into a house of horrors for investigation. But what waited behind that door would haunt them for years to come. Inside, they uncovered the body of a boy severely decomposed and crawling with maggots. It wasn't just a death, but a slow, silent descent into horror.
I was told him that he was sweet, that he wasn't alive.
When was the last time you saw Jacarie?
I haven't seen my son in over 3 years.
Okay.
every time when I would call Ramon and ask him, can I see my son, he would tell me no.
Like, was he tied up?
You know, he had some pretty strong bones in his body that were broken, and they're very strong bones, okay? Like, everyone can break their nose, right? It's fairly easy to break your nose, but like, your leg, it's pretty hard to break.
For the last 2 days, I think, I wasn't breathing. For the last 2 days.
On October 10th, 2023, the Milwaukee Police Department received a call that carried the weight of urgency. On the other end of the call was Jay Moy, a brother in distress, shaken by what he had just witnessed. His younger sibling was in a state that no one could imagine. Officers responded quickly, arriving at the 4100 block of Elmhurst Road around 6:15 p.m.
There's one privacy report.
With questions clouding their thoughts, they stepped inside the house, unaware of the dark scene that was waiting for them.
Milwaukee Police! If you're in here, announce yourself if anyone else is in here! I'm taking the basement.
Alright, you got anything on your side?
Just hold that side.
Alright.
Yep.
I'll hold entrance.
As the investigation progressed, they were about to uncover something more disturbing than they had ever expected. And it was a house of horrors. The entire house was in complete disarray.
Apparently people are supposed to be living here? Ugh.
Just closed. Let me check under the bed. Bed under the bed looks clear.
Did you check in there?
There. No working shower. That's crazy.
The toilet was overflowing with human waste, and mold had covered the sink and spread across the shower walls. Trash was piled high with rotting food, stained furniture, and filthy floors. The air in the apartment was heavy, with a strong, bad smell that stuck to everything. The scene in front of the officers left them stunned, but the worst was yet to come. Amid the chaos and filth, investigators made a horrifying discovery. Tucked underneath a blanket was the body of Jacarie Robinson. His severely emaciated body was covered in maggots, and he barely weighed 54 pounds. The signs of moderate decomposition made it clear that he had been dead for some time. Severely malnourished and left to rot in the very place which meant to shelter him, Jacarie's death was nothing short of tragic and deeply disturbing.
Yeah, he's been there for a minute. Have we seen anything goofy on the ground?
Goofy?
Yeah.
Like in what sort? For something suspicious?
Just something that catches the eyeball.
I mean, besides the purses.
Is this house occupied?
It's apparently he was just staying here.
Where's the DOE?
Right here.
Right here.
Oh.
Doesn't even look lifelike.
He was just by himself.
Hey, he's been there for a while. That guy looks like someone wrapped him up like that, put a blanket over him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that top, t-shirt on his.
Especially if the blanket and the t-shirt is over his head when they come in here.
Was that part by his shoulder? The blanket was it over his head, or?
I'm assuming MFD came in here and probably removed that back. But you got 2 pairs of sandals here. You got those female bags
Yeah,
here.
Purses too.
And no one else was in here with him, just him?
Apparently his brother just checked up on him because he hasn't heard from him. That's brother outside. I guess he's supposed to be living with dad.
So this was probably mom's residence?
Are there male or female clothes?
A lot of it's the rooms that me and Hilltruck checked. They were females.
God, that's
with little
gross.
girl clothes.
Probably not. Or some sort of family member.
Well, where's family at?
No toilet. Wonder if this is just a nasty case of neglect.
Probably. What's Brianna? To Daddy.
Probably don't.
One
His
of the
sister.
girl?
As they moved further into the apartment, horror only escalated. With garbage piled on the kitchen floor and trash covering the table, the scene painted a sickening picture of residents' living conditions. The sink was also coated with thick mold, and even the working refrigerator was stuffed with spoiled meals. It was clear Jacarie had been living in the filthy condition long before he died. To dig deeper into the situation, investigators began canvassing the area to gather more information about his family.
Oh, okay. You live here?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah, so our captain wanted us to talk to neighbors to see if you guys seen any activity at that residence, anybody going in and out within the past week.
There's always that one family with the dad and then the girls, that's it.
Okay. Did you see them outside, like, in the week, this past week at all?
They're always outside, they come out.
How about the little brother?
Actually, I didn't know they even had a little brother until they said so. I always thought it was all girls. I
Okay,
don't pay them
okay.
attention, they little, my kids all adults.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I see them, but I wave at the dad, that's about it.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Okay.
This information came as an utter shock to the officers, surrounded by more questions than answers. How did his own neighbors never see him outside? This began painting a dark picture of his life, and then they met with someone who did see him, but not in a very good state.
Hello. Hi. So our captain wanted us to talk to neighbors to see if you guys seen any activity going on at that house in the past week. Any like kids playing outside? Like our main person that we're asking for is a little boy.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Okay.
You remember last time we seen him? When they was walking to the store? Like a month ago.
A month ago? Okay. Okay.
Is he okay? The little boy?
He's deceased. Yeah. What were you guys, when you guys did see him, how would you guys describe him? Like, was he playful? Was he quiet?
You could tell he was
Weak?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Like, did nobody know? Like, the other girls didn't know about the brother?
Yeah, there was no one in the house when we got on scene. So I don't know if the dad and the girls went somewhere else or what, but there was no one here. Yeah, so.
I can tell you that dad is weird. He's really super quiet.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Too quiet.
I guess the grandma had told us that she talked to dad a couple days ago and he said the child was fine. But it doesn't look like the child was alive a couple days ago. He's been there for, I would say, more than a week.
Yeah.
So was he hiding or was he just like in his room?
Oh no, he's just in the living room.
Oh.
Investigators estimated he may have been dead for nearly a month before anyone found him. Then, Jacarie's mother also arrives at the scene. Though she didn't live here, she had to answer for what they had just walked into.
I'm sorry, okay? So you're mom of Jacarie? When was the last time you saw Jacarie?
I haven't seen my son in over 3 years.
Okay.
Every time when I would call Ramon and ask him, can I see my son? He would tell me no, he's too bad. I said, Ramon, a kid is never that bad where they can't see their mom. That's his bull. I texted Ramon early today. I was at work. I texted him over and over. I said, Ramon, when can I come and see, can Jacarie come over? I got the girls. Can I get Jacarie? He said, Jacarie will be with you very soon. He said, I'm too weak right now to bring him to you, but I will make sure that he gets to you today. I said, okay, fine. Then I had mentioned my son. I said, well, Zayas can come and get him and bring him over to me. Then I get a call, just getting off from work. I got a call. My daughter said, Mama, I knew it. They found him dead.
She showed officers the texts she had been sending to Jacarie's father, urging him to meet her son.
When you texted Ramon, did he ever respond to
Yes,
you?
he did. Yes, he did.
He responded to you today?
Yes, he did several times.
Okay, and what did he say to you?
I'm going to read them to you right now. Okay, this is the number he texted me from right here. Oh, come with this phone. Oh, it's just such a jerk. Here it is right here. This is what he said. He said, I don't have, he pretty much saying he don't have no energy to bring Jacarie to me. And I just kept texting. And then I said, because he had told me, I know he got, and I said, you're going to be okay. You're going to, prayer works and all this other stuff. He said, I'm not feeling good. He said, but I will, pretty much bring Jacarie. He said, yes, I have Jacarie. Yes, I have. Pretty much, I got Jacarie here. Jacarie's fine.
With her help, officers were able to determine how Jacarie's father, Ramon J. Moy, was trying to hide something from everyone, and they needed to speak to him as soon as possible. It also came to light that he was not only denying his mother contact with him, but he had even been isolating Jacarie for months, refusing to let anyone visit or even check on him. Jacarie's mother then gave a possible reason behind Romuald's ill treatment of their son.
And it's so funny because he sent me a text. He said, I need you to watch the kids. He said, because I need to go to the hospital. And I said, really? So I'm thinking, did he hit Jacarie too hard with something and Jacarie just bled out or something? And he lay down and just probably died or something? I don't know. I'm just thinking about, I don't know. I'm just all over the place.
It's all the what happened, where did it go wrong kind of scenarios right now.
What he could have possibly did to take your son's damn life. I understand you going through, you just lost your girlfriend. I understand that. Damn, your son, come over, man. You better than that, man. You better than that.
Did he tell you where he was at when you talked to him?
No. He just said, I told him I was going to come and get Jacarie when I got off from work. And he said, no, I'm going to bring Jacarie. He said, Jacarie will be with you very soon. That's what he said. Jacarie's coming to you very soon.
Right. And did you guys just is this a new girlfriend or it's been a couple years that
he's been with, but she's passed too now.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, he couldn't cope with that, with her dying, because I guess they were supposed to get married like the next day and she passed. So I don't know if he just couldn't cope off with her death and just took it out on Jacarie. I don't know. I don't know.
He had been keeping the boy away from the family for the last few months, claiming Jacarie had been acting really bad. Jacarie lived in the house with his father and 2 other siblings, but to everyone's surprise, Romuald had already sent his teenage daughters to their mother's home, choosing to keep only Jacarie with him.
I talked to Jacarie about maybe about 5 weeks ago. I had got the girls again. I said, Jacarie, Romuald, where's Jacarie? He said, he right here. I said, Jacarie, man, you gotta be good so you can come over and have some fun with us. He said, okay, mama. That was it. That was the last conversation we had.
And when was that conversation when he said, okay? Do you remember?
About 5 weeks ago, maybe.
About a little over a month ago? Yeah. Okay. But otherwise, you haven't talked to him since? Okay. How'd you get the other girls, or the other kiddos?
Well, my called me and said that when I keep the kids. He said, do you got to work today? I said, no, I'm off. He said, is it okay if you get the girls? I said, yeah, bring them over. I'm off today. He said, because I need to go to the hospital. I said, oh, really? I said, what's wrong with you? He said, I just need to go to the hospital right now. I don't know if it was because of that. I don't know.
The officers soon realized they had not just stepped into a home, but it was an evil father's house of horrors who didn't think twice before abandoning his son. To dig deeper, detectives turned to the person who had made the heartbreaking discovery, Jacarie's older brother, Jay.
You're the one that found your brother, right? Was the door unlocked or was it locked? It was unlocked? Okay. Is he supposed to have a cell phone with him?
Jacarie?
Yeah.
He have a cell phone, but I don't even think that is on.
Okay.
I don't even think that is on, bro.
How long ago did you start getting concerned for him?
I've been concerned for the last month, but it really got serious within the last week.
Yeah.
Because I dished him. My dad been dodging. Every time I come over here to drop the kids off or something to him, he'd say he's not here. But I'm like, oh, you not here? You just told them. So I came here because he been texting me today saying he only got a couple days left to live. Like yesterday, last couple of days, he been telling me like his been messing with him. He said he only got a couple days left to live, this and that. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, Dad, he said he don't want us to see him like that. So he been staying away from us. So I'm like, Dad, I need to see you. Like, if you only got a couple of days left to live, I need to see you. You had me for the last couple of years. I'm like, if it's that serious, I need to spend time with you before you leave. So he been telling me like, no, I don't have the energy right now. As soon as I get the energy, son, I would definitely you can definitely see me. So I'm like, I just knew. I'm like, no, something.
You just felt something wasn't right.
I just knew it because I'm like, you don't never dodge me like this. You never dodge me like this. So when I finally got over here, I stood at the door. I called his name. I was at the door just calling my dad, and I'm like, Dad, if you in there, please come out. I thought he was just lying about not being here. So when I opened the door the first time, nobody was in there.
Jay explained that his suspicions grew when their father began frequently complaining about being ill and constantly avoided contact. The last time he saw Jacarie alive was on his birthday in August, and even then, Jay remembered how alarmingly thin his younger brother looked. He described their father as a strict disciplinarian, someone who believed in harsh consequences, though he insisted that physical punishment wasn't something he often used. Now they had their person, and they needed answers which only Romuan could provide. But to their surprise, he was nowhere to be seen. It took almost 4 months for them to receive a tip that led them to Romuan's whereabouts, and he was apprehended on February 25, 2024.
Hands up. What's your name? Yep. Don't do it.
We have Ramon.
Yeah.
Nurse. Okay, I have to do one more.
They swiftly brought him in for questioning. Unbeknownst to them, what he was going to reveal would shock them to their core. Romuan was prepared to share everything he knew about his son's death, speaking in his own words that would stay with the investigators for the rest of their lives.
I mean, the main thing that we're wondering here is what happened with Jacarie.
All types of custody or you hear him or you try to attack you or all those girls. Then at that point, then it started getting to where he just wanted to this still alive.
Still alive? So he had some discipline problems?
Yeah, a lot.
What was he stealing?
Just like food, and I couldn't understand that from because he was getting fair.
Romuan began casting blame on his own deceased son, telling detectives that Jacarie had behavioral problems. He also told the officers that Jacarie's mother had no involvement in their son's death. He was simply overwhelmed by the death of his girlfriend Sarah, which had caused him to withdraw from everyone. But to call him merely detached would be a dangerous understatement, because what he revealed next would uncover the horrific, ravenous death of Jacarie.
So Sarah passes. You have that to deal with. And you're unable to mourn yourself. And then you have the 3 kids that you have to watch. And I'm guessing everything just kind of piles up. It gets way too much. So, when was the last time you saw Jacarie? October 10th? When's the last time that Jacarie ate before October 3rd?
But I think for the last 2 days, I think I wasn't eating for the last 2 days.
2 days? Okay. Why specifically Jacarie? Because the girls were well fed.
I just don't. I just like fear. I was letting everybody eat.
So was Jacarie able to go into the kitchen and grab food if he wanted to, or no? What would happen if Jacarie went into the kitchen and grabbed something to eat?
Actually, I wasn't even paying attention.
It was the most heartbreaking revelation so far. Jacarie had not been allowed in the kitchen of his own will and had been starved for days before his death. This explained his emaciated body, with bones visible beneath his skin, discovered initially by detectives that not only spoke of his prolonged suffering, but also the chilling negligence of Romuan under his supervision, a crime that had been concealed in his murder house. Yet Romuan's chilling words didn't deter him. He continued detailing his second-by-second control over Jacarie.
I mean, was Jacarie like, he was free to walk around the house and everything, right? So were you just, what would have happened if Jacarie went and got food?
At the time, I probably would have still told him no. But a lot of times I was outside.
Because there was food in his pockets.
There was food in I don't know, like a lot of times I was outside.
So if Jacarie pulled something out of his pocket and started eating it in front of you when he was on a timeout, what would you do?
I don't know, because I never saw him.
Was he fearful? Like if you knew he couldn't do that, right? Like, so he knew if he did that there would be a whooping probably, right?
The dreadful sight of interrogation haunted the detectives to know more, that Jacarie was hiding food in his pockets to survive, only to meet a terrible death. On the other side, when the officers continued to question Romuan, he initially pretended, claiming he was merely controlling his son without considering the potential consequences. However, to claim he didn't realize his actions could be fatal is a blatant lie, because moments later, his statements clearly illustrate his intention.
What do you think caused Jacarie to die?
Probably from those last days not
it
eating.
was malnutrition.
Why'd you continue then?
Well, like I said, to that part I have no idea.
So he passes on the 3rd. The couple of days before that, did you know that he was getting close?
No, I didn't. I didn't realize.
You didn't even realize?
Mm-hmm. Not at all.
So after he passes, what do you do?
I was in shock, and I just stood there like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So the only thing I did was I just sat there, like in the house with him. I didn't know what to do.
Did you think about calling for help? Can I ask why?
I don't even know why. I just didn't. I probably because I'm shocked. I didn't do I was scared. Because I never ever heard him die. So I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was afraid.
How long did you stay with him?
I stayed with him a week.
Romuan also admitted to committing an extremely disturbing act after Jacarie had died. Despite the devastating reality before him, he made the shocking decision to continue living with the dead body under the same roof. His attempts to cover up were revealed as he recounted what he had demonstrated to his daughters, who were present in the house while Jacarie was laying in the pool of death just rooms away.
So when did the girls leave before Jacarie? At what point did the girls leave?
They left after I noticed that he wasn't alive. I knew I had I seen him like that.
Okay. So you said the last time Jacarie was alive was October 3rd, correct?
Yeah.
Is that when the girls decided, you got the girls out of there?
Yeah, I got them out there.
Did they see Jacarie?
Yeah.
They saw him on the ground? Did they know what was going on with Jacarie?
No, I didn't. I just told them he was sweet.
Jacarie's death was not simply the result of starvation and neglect. He was severely injured, and the man responsible was Romuan. In the following minutes, you will see exactly how he twisted the events into seemingly casual punishments given to Jacarie. This fabricated narrative also drew the attention of 2 detectives.
What about the whoopings? Because he had some pretty serious injuries. Can you describe these whoopings to us?
I just remember I was whooping.
I mean, would you punch him? Would you, how would you whoop him? I mean, what?
I had something.
Would you hit him with something?
Like a shoe or something like that.
With a shoe or, okay. Was it always something different?
Yeah, I remember the shoe.
The shoe?
You know, he had some pretty strong bones in his body that were broken, and they were at various stages of healing, which means they happened over a period of time, and they were healing, and they're very strong bones.
During questioning, Romuan also confessed to shocking acts of mistreatment, beating his own son with shoes. However, they knew beating with the shoe alone would not cause serious injuries. As the officers pressed Romuan further, they uncovered not only what he had done to Jacarie, but also what had been hidden inside the murder house, when they discovered a significant amount of suffering that never showed up in the autopsy report.
There were quite a lot of bottles of pee in the living room. Was he allowed to go and use the toilet at all, or did he have to stay just in the living room?
He would stay in the living room, because if he went to the bathroom, he had to take his sneak off and do other stuff, so I just had him pee there.
Okay.
So he wasn't free to roam about the house?
Not at a certain, if he was going not by himself, no.
Okay. How would you prevent him from going and, I mean, would you, was he tied up? Was he, kind of put in an area where he couldn't move?
Yeah, put it inside of the area.
Okay. And how would you keep him from getting out of that area?
Just have him sit there.
Just have him sit there?
Each word above depicted the most inhuman acts committed by the father. However, even after taking all these steps, Romuan remained unsatisfied with his actions, or perhaps this time, he was afraid of the consequences that led him to impersonate someone else on Facebook, telling everyone Jacarie was all fine. Although by the end, Romuan clearly demonstrated that he was not in the right state of mind and showed no concern about upsetting anyone. But considering the facts, it was revealed that he had complete control over Jacarie. Each of Romuan's actions was calculated and terrifying in its precision. What Jacarie endured wasn't just physical torment. It was the systematic stripping away of human dignity, piece by piece. The judge described the case as a horror movie because of the extreme cruelty and neglect. On August 29, 2024, Romuan J. Moy pleaded guilty to first-degree reckless homicide, ongoing child neglect, and failure to report a death. He was sentenced to 47.5 years in prison, followed by 25 years of extended supervision. Meanwhile, Jacarie's family is devastated by his loss and the horrific circumstances of it.
Why are you assaulting me? I'm being assaulted. Assault! 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 Rape! 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 Sheriff's office!
He's down! I'm bleeding. Where you? In the chest. Where in the chest? Where in the chest? Right here.
Until this vicious attack, the officers had no idea that the psychopath had lured them into his house of horrors.
Zack, can you hear me? Zack, can you hear me?
Hey, I'm going. Cover me. Shots fired. Cover me. Go, one down.
This individual fired so many rounds so rapidly at us.
The cops were left with no way to escape, but the terror had just begun.
300 out. We've got 3 officers hit. 1 down. 2 injured minor. Person was shot with a gun inside the apartment.
On December 31st, 2017, at 5:15 a.m., Douglas County, Colorado Police received a disturbing 911 call from 37-year-old Matthew Edward Reel, starting what would become one of the most terrifying cases of their lives.
And what was the address of your emergency? I need to file a restraining order, emergency restraining order against my domestic partner.
Has this been physical?
Okay, but yes.
Right,
You saw last time? Yes, okay. He came at me, and the deputies were here, and I'm really worried. They didn't even arrest him, and, like, he's pushed me around before, and I told them.
Well, my deputies are headed your way right now to talk to you about getting an emergency restraining order.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
As deputies Davis and Zack Parrish arrived at the scene, unaware of the horror they were walking into, something strange immediately caught their attention.
Hanging out a bedroom window was a blanket, so that was odd. And also we noticed there were a lot of items that had been thrown off of the balcony.
This scene quickly put them on high alert, and with Deputy Michael Doyle, they moved straight toward the apartment.
Hey, Matt, it's Zack. Matt, it's Zack. It's Zack. I'm at the sheriff's office right here, man.
In?
Yes, we can talk out here.
There you go.
All right, let's go.
What's up?
Are you okay?
Yeah, well, I want to file a domestic restraining order against my domestic partner.
Okay.
Okay.
As the door opened, Matthew was already recording them, and without much warning, things quickly turned into a confrontation.
I just feel like you're really upset. I'm not
Well,
really
I
sure
am,
what's
because
going
I was
on.
assaulted and you didn't help me
Who assaulted you?
tonight.
Do you want me to give you a number you can call for the Douglas County Civil Division?
I called him already and I said I wanted to file a domestic restraining order immediately.
Well,
Did you not get that message?
Just... Okay, we're gonna take him. We're gonna take him. We're in one. Back off this door in case he does get a gun. That way I can get in a better position.
Sensing the danger, the deputies backed away from the apartment and contacted Matthew's roommate at work, asking him to bring the keys so they could gain entry. As the urgency escalated, more deputies arrived, unaware of what might happen.
We'd have one deputy with a lethal force option, so they had a handgun. Another deputy would have a less lethal force option, which is a taser, and then two of us would go hands-on.
The deputies attempted to unlock the door, but it was barricaded with several items. Grabbing their shield, they forced it open with all their strength.
Sheriff's Department, I got a ton of guys. Okay. Matthew, come out!
Matt, come out. Yep. Matt, come out of the room now.
And just like that, the game of horror began.
Open the door. Sheriff's office. He's out. Hey, I'm going. Cover me. Cover me. Sheriff's office. Get out. Get out. I'm in the arm and the leg. We've got 3 officers hit. You right? Where you hit? Where you hit?
This individual fired so many rounds so rapidly at us.
Everything was happening in a blur, so fast that they didn't even have a chance to fire back or defend themselves. But then, in the chaos, a chilling realization set in.
And the last thing I saw as we retreated out the front door of the apartment was Deputy Taylor going back deeper into the apartment. And then we got out to the landing, and Doyle said that Zack's down, and he's gonna go back and get him.
Down! Hey, I'm going! Cover me! Shots fired! Cover me! No, I'm down!
Zack say, I'm shot, I'm bleeding out.
I'm going! Cover me! Shots fired! Cover me!
And so I look to my left and I see Zack's down. My first thought is, my friend's down, I need to go get him. So I started crawling, or I grab his, I believe it was his right boot, and I just pulled as hard as I could. I moved him probably 2-3 feet. That's when the next volley of rounds started coming out.
But with the heavy gunfire, they were forced to leave without being able to bring deputies Davis and Zack with them to safety.
300 out. We've got 3 officers hit. 1 down. 2 injured minor. Person was shot with a gun inside the apartment still. All right, guys. Where's Davis?
I'll see you, dude. She's inside with them.
I was worried about Jeff because he had gotten shot in the chest, and Deputy Doyle was helping him out.
I'm bleeding. Where you at? In the chest. Where in the chest? Where in the chest? Right here.
The situation had already escalated to the worst. With Deputy Zack now trapped inside the hellish house, face to face with the shooter.
I knew I couldn't get back to the front door. So I pushed further back into the apartment. I saw a window. I basically just shoved my palm through the window. And then at that point, I just jumped.
I'm hit! I'm hit! Where's David?
Meanwhile, outside, Deputy Doyle was trying to help his fellow officer with his injuries.
The bullet entered just over my vest, just under my armpit.
I saw the blood coming out of my sleeves. I'm like, okay, I got shot. But then after that, my whole attention is on Jeff at that point.
You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Stay with me, Kelly. Out of there. Stay with me. Yeah.
The sergeant started administering aid to me. I was administering aid to Jeff.
Right on my back right.
At that point, that's when I could tell I'm not good. Like my lungs collapsed, I was gargling blood.
I'm shot in the arm and the leg, Sergeant.
I need SWAT right now. I need medical. Hey, we can get our guys out of there.
I need a tourniquet on my left arm.
All right.
You're gonna be all right. I am. All right.
Yeah.
You okay? Shoot out.
Get out of here!
But then the gunfire erupted again, and things kept getting worse with every passing second.
Blue coming around! I started yelling blue, blue, blue to indicate that it was me, that I was not a threat to them as I was coming around the corner. Blue! Coming around! Blue! Blue! I'm hit! I don't know where, I don't know how much. Who's Parrish?
Parrish is still in there.
Parrish is still in there. And that's when, my heart really sank. It just really broke my heart to know Zack was still in there.
Stay with me, Pelly. You're all right. You're okay.
Hey, Pelly. We got you, man. We got you. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We got you.
Though the ambulance showed up just in time, due to the dire situation, they weren't allowed to enter.
Okay, back to my truck. Hey, we got you.
I'm here with you. Okay.
Ready? Ready?
Yeah, go.
Two some cops are here. Where? Here? Yeah.
Back at the scene, Deputy Davis was the only one left behind, fighting and trying to handle everything on her own.
I was pretty much completely by myself. That's a very lonely feeling. And all I have is just my handgun, and if he comes out and wants to start engaging with me, I'm in a very bad position right now.
Who's coming up behind me?
I didn't want to turn and look, because if Matthew were to come out of the front of the apartment, I don't want to be vulnerable looking behind me.
Right behind you.
Okay. Layman.
How you doing? Where you at?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have an officer down, shot in the arm. Bring me a car so I can get her out of here.
But she couldn't hold on for much longer.
One shot in the arm.
Got another one shot?
Yeah, she's shot in the arm.
How did this just happen? I can't believe this just happened. It's kind of a shock. My only thought was, how do we get Zack out of this situation?
More SWAT team members quickly arrived as Deputy Zack was still inside the apartment with Matthew, and no one knew what more was waiting for them.
You hit the door barricaded, the main door.
Got the door barricaded?
We blew through that. We bit through it. As soon as you come in, the hallway to the right, that's his bedroom. That's where he is. Zach, can you hear me? Zach, can you hear me?
Let's go back. Let's go back. Come on.
Our officer's down inside. He's got a radio. He's got Parrish's radio.
Despite a battalion of well-trained police officers at the crime scene, Matthew was out of control. Deputies quickly realized that he had access to CCTV cameras, which allowed him to track their every move, leaving them no chance to strategize. To make matters worse, he'd somehow gained control of Deputy Parrish's two-way radio and therefore knew their tactics before they could act.
We knew that we had to stop that communication because he could figure out where we were and target us.
Parrish, can you hear me? Well, 309 Adam, I'm not getting any answers from our deputy. I can hear his radio inside. I can hear the suspect reloading.
Every rescue plan they came up with was shut down even before it began. Matthew always seemed to be a step ahead.
Knowing that he was in a position of tactical advantage, knowing that we were having to fight up some stairs, and knowing that he had some type of surveillance, our only avenue was pretty much cut off.
Parrish!
So we had to think of something different in order to get to Zack.
After multiple gunfire exchanges and failed attempts, the chase to stop Matthew continued. Deputies were exhausted, but the real question wasn't how to stop him, but why he'd started all this in the first place. The answer lay in the 911 call he made a few hours earlier.
911, what is the address of the emergency? Douglas County, Colorado. Alrighty, what's going on there? This guy invited me to his house. He was like kind of like move in, and that he like totally freaked out on me. And he kept coming at me, and I put a laser in his eye because I appeared for my health and my safety. Like he was at me. And what was your name? My name is Matthew Reel.
Alrighty, and just one more question for you. Do you know if there's any weapons in the home at all?
Yes, I do have some weapons. I own firearms. Like I'm not here to hurt anybody, but yes, I do have firearms.
Okay. Alrighty, Matthew. So I have 3 deputies headed out that way. We're going to come contact you guys and just kind of talk to both of you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Concerned about his safety, deputies rushed to the scene, anticipating that the situation could escalate into something even more dangerous.
Okay, hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
What's going on tonight?
Yeah, well, my roommate freaked out on me and came at me. I even like put a laser in his face, and like I'm surprised he didn't go and call the police or go to the hospital.
Stay where you're at right there, sir, for me. Why don't you come out here with this guy right here?
So why did the police get called out here?
I called them.
Then why are we out here tonight? What's going
Because
on?
he's going crazy.
Okay.
He came at me.
So when I asked
in
you...
my room, I'm trying to explain to you, and you're not listening. Why aren't you listening?
The moment deputies stepped into the scene, they noticed something odd: Matthew's unsettling behavior. Instead of helping them piece together what had happened, he continued arguing with them while offering no helpful information.
Go ahead and step down the stairs. Let's go.
No, I want to
stairs. Let's go.
Behavior didn't seem right. He's kind of antagonistic. It's rare to have somebody call us to show up and then not cooperate with simple things like, who are you? What are we doing out here? Why did you call?
No, when I asked you what's going on tonight and you said nothing.
Nothing. I was doing nothing. That was the plan.
No, I didn't ask what you were doing. I said, what is going on tonight?
What's going on? I thought nothing was going on.
Then why did the cops get called out here?
Because I called them.
Okay, so why did you call the cops?
Because he came at me. And
So that's what's going on.
Safety.
That's what's going on.
Yes, you got me. You got me.
Meanwhile, Deputy Parrish briefly mentioned Matthew's roommate regarding the accusations Matthew had made against him.
Okay, so what's he upset about?
What's going on?
I was asking him, what time is it? Okay. What time is it?
Okay.
And he freaked out.
According to the roommate, It had all begun with a seemingly harmless question that had somehow set off Matthew. He hadn't even finished speaking when Officer Parrish heard Matthew calling out for help.
Why are you assaulting me? I'm being assaulted. Assault, rape, rape, rape.
Without any delays, he rushed downstairs to assess the whole situation.
What's your driver's license?
It's none of your business.
Actually, it is because you called us out
here. No, I was just
here.
in there. You just took me down the stairs. I'm gonna go back up the stairs.
Stay right there.
Whoa. Why are you assaulting me? I'm being assaulted.
There.
Assault, rape, rape, rape.
Now keep your mouth shut and stay where I tell you to, because right now you're the only one making a disturbance. What's your name and date of birth?
Matthew Edward Real. September 9th, 1980.
Nothing about Matthew added up. His actions weren't just chilling. They felt like they could lead someone straight into danger. But the real shock came when Matthew started shouting, which would only turn the situation even darker.
Wait. I'm the domestic here. Are you serious?
So you two are in an intimate relationship?
Yes.
Well, now you're alleging a domestic disturbance, so now I have to know how long you've lived here and how long you two have been.
Okay, there you go. Are you reading your script now, officer? Put your hands on my neck again.
I didn't put my hand on your neck. I put my hand
on my
in your
neck
chest.
again. Put your hands on my neck again.
If you keep yelling like that,
okay.
If you keep yelling like that, I will take you to jail for disorderly conduct.
It's already been explained to you once.
Given the unsettling nature of Matthew's claims, deputies grew concerned about his mental health. Though the domestic angle seemed unlikely, they spoke to both him and his roommate, hoping to uncover the truth behind what went wrong.
What's your first name again?
Matthew.
Zach, good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm worried about him. Like, he needs an ambulance. Like, I'm afraid I lased him in the face.
Was it a laser or a taser?
No, a laser.
Okay.
And what's your guys' relationship?
Nothing. He used to work at Walmart. And I was looking for a roommate.
Okay.
Don't tell me you tried to call it a domestic relationship.
100% what he tried calling it.
No. I'll get a Bible, put my hand on it.
No. So he's saying he shined a laser in your face, but it was a mag light, like flashlight?
I'm assuming mag light. Okay. Because he was holding it like this and flipping it back and forth, so I don't know for sure.
Okay. There's no marks or bruising on either party that we can see. There's nothing broken inside of the house. There's no crime alleged. There's no crime occurred. You're physically fine. So we really had no legal action at that point.
After talking to his roommate, the deputies' suspicions only deepened. They couldn't shake off the feeling that something about Matthew wasn't right. Hoping to confirm their doubts, they ran a background check on him. However, what they found wasn't just unsettling. It revealed a far darker past than anyone had imagined.
The person who called in, who's a war veteran, had been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and had access to weapons.
I deal with a lot of folks who have PTSD and that kind of thing, and it doesn't change necessarily what I'm going to do. It's just that I might have to deal with somebody who has some mental health issues.
From the start, deputies sensed that Matthew's behavior wasn't normal, but only after recovering his traumatic mental health history did things begin to make sense. His erratic actions were shaped by psychopathic tendencies developed during the Iraq War.
He was doing all kinds of things that were clearly indicative of a mental health crisis.
Are you okay?
Yeah, well.
He was not able to make a rational decision just based upon the things that he was doing.
I said I wanted to file a domestic restraining order immediately. Well, did you not get that message?
And that's when Zack made a decision. We're going to take him on an M1 hold.
Further into the investigation, they discovered some YouTube videos made by Matthew targeting the deputies, which not only solidified their concerns, but were extremely alarming.
Using his radar gun, with a laser aiming point on top. See, you heard the beep beep? Shut the red car passing. Now he's got the gun up, points it back at my car. That's already parked though, right? We're both already parked. Now he gets out and starts harassing me. This cop needs to get fired now. I'm just here to inform you, this department is run by a pimp. This particular deputy is a pimp in the field, and I'm Matt Real, running for a libertarian candidate of Anyway, I flub every once in a while, but we all do. And you know who's gonna flub big time next election? Spurlock. He's a clown, and so is this whole posse and crew. Anyway, nice to meet you all. Have a good evening. Take care. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
However, that didn't justify putting everyone around him in danger. No one could have predicted that a routine 911 call would spiral into a deadly shooting. At this point, the deputies had one priority: getting Deputy Parrish out of the scene.
We don't know the state of Zack. We don't know if he'd been taken hostage. We have no idea. It was now my time to rescue Zack.
The situation was getting out of hand. To keep things in control, the neighbors were evacuated immediately, while the deputies devised a new plan to rescue Deputy Parrish.
We determined that the best way to get to Zack was through the apartment that was across the landing from where Zack was located. So we employed a ladder to get up to the balcony of that apartment.
As soon as the Colorado SWAT team reached the top of the stairs, they began firing into the attic of Matthew's room, aiming to distract him while other officers worked to rescue Deputy Parrish. After nearly 2 hours of continuous rounds of gunfire, the team finally found a chance to rescue Deputy Parrish from inside the house.
My priority is to pull Zack from the gunfire. Then there was a lull in the gunfire, and that's when he went up the stairs, went into the apartment, and grabbed a hold of his feet and started pulling.
You go in the truck? Okay, we only need us three. No, us three. Just a minute. Go. 1 minute. Pull him back.
With Deputy Parrish rescued, detectives now had only one thing to focus on: capturing Matthew and de-escalating the situation before they had to witness any casualties. The team then quickly assembled and besieged his apartment.
Go. They're going. Go.
Third drive.
As soon as they broke into the house, they confronted Matthew. The SWAT team did everything they could to defuse the situation, but in the chaos that followed, Matthew was shot and killed.
A SWAT team made entry into the front door, and then in the process of doing so, they engaged the suspect. He had fired a number of rounds at our officers, hitting one of them, and we fired and killed him.
Meanwhile, the victims at the crime scene were quickly rushed to the hospital. Matthew's neighbors, though severely injured by the gunshots, were thankfully out of danger. As for the 3 other deputies injured alongside Zack that day, all of them survived.
I was shot 5 times. I was relatively lucky. From jumping out of the window, I had a hairline fracture in my tibia. When I broke the window, caused nerve damage in my hand because I had severed or nicked a nerve.
So I came out of surgery. Ugh. But I kept asking, how's Doyle? He's fine, he's downstairs. How's Taylor? She's fine. And then kind of when I asked about Zack, it kind of, and then finally they.
Officers were left in utter shock when some devastating news came in. Deputy Zack hadn't survived the sheer brutality of the event.
He reminded me a little bit of me, I think, to some degree, when I was that age. Young and eager, but he was very dedicated. He was a good officer.
Zack had passion, and it wasn't passion to throw people in jail. It was passion to help. It was passion to do his job. He wanted to change the world, and if he changed it one person at a time, he would do it. He was a great cop.
For everyone involved, it was a nightmare. The officers were left in shock and pain after witnessing Matthew's madness. In less than 24 hours, he'd fired 358 damning rounds of gunfire. Moreover, a search of his apartment revealed a small arsenal of powerful weapons, including an M16, an M4, and a Glock pistol. Far too dangerous for anyone, especially someone like Matthew, to possess. Later, it was revealed that Matthew had completely given up on his medication, which only worsened his mental health conditions, ultimately leading to this deadly event.
Hi, I was wondering if I could have a well done on someone. I didn't know you really to do this well check. Looking for my daughter. It's okay, take a deep breath. She lives there. It's her boyfriend.
So where's your wife or your girlfriend?
Honestly, she left, and I've been texting her, I've been calling her, and she has not been responding.
On a chilling December night, Cedar Park police were informed about a missing woman. But what started as a routine welfare check would spiral into a twisted chain of events, fueled by darkness, allegations, and something far more horrifying that would haunt the officers for the rest of their life.
Not there!
It all started on December 12, 2019, when a desperate mother called 911 to report her daughter, Amanda Gordan, better known as Mandy, had disappeared without a trace. She'd not just been missing for a few hours, but it had already been 3 days with no sign of her. With little information in hand, officers swiftly arrived at Mandy's residence for a welfare check, only to encounter an unthinkable act by her husband, Samuel Bird, who had set a bizarre demand for the police. They were to speak only through the window. This strange request from Sam only left the detectives in a more complex situation, making the detectives suspicious about what he might be hiding inside.
I'm gonna knock on the door and see if anyone's in there. Cedar Park Police.
Hey, Sam. Sam, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Hey, man. Hey.
How you doing?
Good. So basically, we got a call asking for us to check welfare on, I don't know if it's your girlfriend or who, and her kids. Are your kids here?
Yes.
Okay. Is this one of them?
Yes.
Okay. And is the other one here?
If you look right here, you pick me up.
I can see the one on the lap.
Yes.
So where's your wife or your girlfriend?
Honestly, she left, and I've been texting her, I've been calling her, and she has not been responding.
Okay.
And I am frankly a little bit worried, and I don't know.
Sam indeed portrayed himself as a concerned husband, telling the police Mandy had willingly left on her own, leaving their 2 children behind. He displayed a mix of emotions, expressing anger that Mandy had also abandoned him, while also showing worry about her whereabouts. However, Sam was not alone inside. His brother, Josiah Bird, was also there, helping with the kids. As detectives gathered more information, they were puzzled to know that Mandy had been living with Sam and their children, who seemed to have a contented life. So why would she suddenly leave, especially without her kids? Was this responsibility too much for her to bear? Or was there something else that drove her away? Before the police could make sense of it, Sam's strange behavior raised a red flag.
Would you be willing to allow 2 officers to just walk through your property to make sure that she's not on your property?
I wouldn't feel comfortable with that.
Suspicion was already thick in the air, but his actions only made it worse, considering that if he was telling the truth, why would he dare to stop the police unless he was concealing something far more sinister? His aura grew increasingly mysterious, enveloping the surroundings as the officer's sharp eyes noticed something amiss. The place inside was in complete disarray, with items scattered in disheveled positions, building more tension and suggesting that there was something else going on, and Sam was at the center of it.
I need to go talk to my boss in the driveway.
X-reported narcotic history at the shop. I don't know if that's why he's
Okay,
concerned
so
that we'll
here.
let y'all come in here.
I can smell marijuana.
Their doubt turned out to be true when they realized that it was not just a usual mess, but drug dealing was occurring, making the situation far more dangerous, especially with children involved inside. Recognizing the threat, they decided to secure the children first and deployed the SWAT units to enter the scene. But their entry only escalated the tension when they discovered Mandy wasn't there. In addition, they uncovered exclusive items revealing further danger, including drug paraphernalia. But this was only the beginning. As more clues came to light, the entire case took a new turn, deepening the mystery and leaving investigators more conflicted than ever.
There was an outbuilding behind the residence. It was highly concerning because there were footprints leading up to the door of the shed. And when we entered the shed, it was fresh varnished. You could smell it.
It was odd, a lot of splashes and paint on the legs of things, like it had been done very recently and very quickly.
Sam hadn't moved anything, so all the furniture was in place. He had just varnished around it, which was extremely unusual.
But the discoveries didn't end there. Detectives soon found themselves facing an even more twisted finding. Mandy's belongings were completely missing. It appeared that she'd packed up everything and simply left the home, and Sam informed the police. If that were true, then perhaps he was telling the truth. However, almost immediately after, another puzzle was locked away, signifying that everything might have been deliberately staged to support a lie. As they began searching the residence, they uncovered something suspicious. In a master closet, one side was deliberately organized, while on the other side, Mandy's belongings had disappeared entirely. Not even a single thread was found. These findings raised the ultimate question in the detective's mind. If Mandy had truly left the house, she might have been in a hurry that could have caused her to forget something, but it seemed completely overdone. They also discovered numerous cameras inside the house, all of which were sent for digital forensic testing. So far, nothing had made sense to the detectives, but just as they were digging into unanswered questions, a new lead began to emerge, giving the investigation a new direction. Mandy's neighbor told the detectives that Sam's brother, Josiah, frequently visited her home. He also mentioned that shortly after Mandy's disappearance, Josiah began sending weird texts to her family members and friends. This particular statement raised further suspicion, prompting investigators to keep both brothers under surveillance. Their growing doubts led them to search the residence one more time. Although they didn't find anything against Josiah, but Sam's car hinted at another clue. He had a regular subscription to a car wash, and if a crime had taken place, any potential evidence might have already been washed away. Knowing the urgency, the detectives rushed swiftly to the car wash facility, but nothing could have prepared them for what they were about to uncover. The records revealed that Sam had visited the car wash facility on December 11th, just one day before Mandy's mother reported her missing. With this information, the detectives began reviewing the CCTV footage, where they found the most significant leads so far.
That video showed us that he was by himself. Nobody else was driving his truck. What I observed in that is that Sam had no shoes on. It was December. It's cold outside. But yet we have video of Sam at a car wash with no shoes on.
The most critical question raised here was that Sam's wife had been missing and their children were left alone. But why was he so obsessed with washing his car? This brought more fear about his deranged behavior that detectives couldn't fully understand. However, they knew one thing for sure. It was crucial to determine Sam's whereabouts during Mandy's disappearance. Just as they were wondering how to trace his movements, his car revealed a prominent picture. A large patch of mud was spotted on the tires, which clearly didn't belong to Cedar's location. When the question suddenly occurred to him, where did that mud come from? Maybe it wasn't just dirt, but the last clue that had been buried, his darkest secret. To gain more insight into the situation, Sam was brought in for interrogation. However, his reaction completely baffled the officers.
Samuel Bird flatly said that he was not going to speak with us. He was not going to cooperate.
Sam's reaction only disappointed the officers as he refused to cooperate. But that didn't make them lose hope, because they shifted their focus to his brother, Josiah, who was about to introduce a shady individual to the case.
Does she normally take her cut?
Well, yeah, but...
Where are the keys to the Lexus?
I think I have them.
Who is this girl?
Josiah seemed to be cooperative and shared his part of the concern with the police.
What's going on with Mandy?
Sam said that she left 3 days ago, and he's been dealing with the kids and full-time work.
Do they argue or fight often?
They fought all the time, verbally, and that's what I used to seeing, so for her to leave was not unusual for me.
Did anybody stop by the house earlier with you?
I think her name is Rachel. I don't know. Like a redhead girl.
Are they just friends, or are they something more, or what?
They're not dating.
Josiah provided the most significant information. Sam had been in contact with a girl named Rachel Buckley. He also stated that they weren't dating, but it immediately raised the question about her role in his life. Believing Rachel might hold a missing piece of the puzzle, they quickly headed out to locate her to ask about Sam.
Rachel, come to the door. Police department, come to the door, Rachel.
Did you talk to him this weekend at all?
A little bit, but it was... Our relationship has always kind of been a love-hate.
Well, what did he tell you about Mandy?
He had just told me that she left sometime that this past weekend with a guy. That was it. She's done it before multiple times and come back.
Rachel was indeed shocked to see the officers and quickly realized they were there to ask about Sam. Still, she believed that Mandy had intentionally run away, as she had done in the past, so it was nothing unusual to her, knowing she was missing. And if anyone thought Rachel was genuinely concerned, her following statement would make her interest very clear.
Does she normally take her car?
Well, yeah, but...
Where are the keys to the Lexus?
I think I have them.
Even though she initially showed some interest, it didn't take long before she dropped a bombshell that turned the entire investigation on its head. She delivered the crucial details that Sam had once handed her a mysterious bag, asking her a favor to hide it somewhere. Later, he personally accompanied her to the isolated place known as Lago Vista, where, under his guidance, she stashed the items, believing it was just a simple favor. However, at this moment, the detectives were unaware that these findings would be the biggest breakthrough ever, leading them straight to the hidden site of the crime. The officers quickly arrived at the location, where they found a mysterious bag containing an incriminating sign of a crime. The gallon Ziploc bag contained a 9mm semi-automatic pistol, which appeared with a broken handle, along with a fired shell casing. This chilling sight escalated even more when they also discovered a phone with what appeared to be blood on its lenses, revealing a sinister act. This shocking piece of revelation wasn't over yet. Rachel stepped forward with one final detail that would deliver the ultimate blow. She was ready to discuss the bag she'd received from Sam, and especially her relationship with him.
I had made a decision to kind of cut ties with Sam because him and I have been romantically involved. Not at the same time as Mandy. They had broken up. So he invested, from what I know, like $200,000 in a business deal this year. What I was told was it was an investment in a recycling business. Basically what he told me, this bag will prove my innocence, will set me free.
Would you mind elaborating on that as best you can?
He has been concerned about a business deal that had gone wrong at the beginning of this year. So he felt like he had a price on his head because of this business deal.
She explained about a business deal involving two brothers in Bastrop County, Texas. This raised further alarm bells for them, as this bad business deal could have cost Mandy her life. To dig deeper, detectives began to search into the connection between Sam and these mysterious brothers. Soon enough, they stumbled upon evidence that could establish their connection in depth. On December 9th, just 2 days before Sam's visit to the car wash, a toll booth camera had captured his pickup truck heading toward Bastrop at 10:41 p.m. To trace his movements that night, officers retraced the route and checked nearby gas stations. Eventually, they found a surveillance video that could hold the answers to all their questions related to the investigation.
What's helpful is Sam had that ridiculously large wrap on his truck that made his truck extremely identifiable, even from a distance.
We did confirm that Sam Bird vehicle on the 9th of December traveled south.
If Sam had taken that route, he would have ended up in Bastrop County. Now, investigators needed to determine exactly where he'd gone and how he'd ended up with mud all over his truck. Then came a crucial clue that helped trace his path. Another toll booth camera picked up his truck a second time, nearly 12 hours later, on December 10th. By 11 a.m., he was spotted again at the same gas station surveillance, this time heading back.
Now we knew that his vehicle, more likely than not, traveled to the ranch in Bastrop on the 9th and returned on the 10th.
It was now confirmed that he'd gone to the ranch on December 9th and returned the next morning. But the question remained, what was he doing there for nearly 12 hours? With such a vast area to cover, finding answers wouldn't be easy. Investigators had to narrow their search, and that's when they decided to use a tactic, one that could lead them straight to the truth.
In the days following the initial disappearance of Mandy, we sought the help of the local media, asking if anybody had any information or had any knowledge to please reach out to us in regards to the whereabouts of Mandy.
Through this tactic, investigators received an anonymous tip about Sam. The caller revealed that he'd been involved in a business partnership connected to a single recycling facility located in Bastrop, Texas.
Rachel had also provided information that there was some form of partnership with people that were in Bastrop. So that became our priority, was to investigate the ranch in this location.
Armed with these new details, investigators managed to trace a phone number that led them directly to one of the brothers. The brothers agreed to let the officers visit the ranch for further investigation. However, unbeknownst to them, they were going to uncover something that would stun them to the core. As they arrived at the ranch, subtle but telling clues began to surface, each one tying Sam directly to the property and the day of the murder.
He told us that yes, he knew Sam. They had been business partners for quite some time.
When I traveled out to Bastrop, what immediately caught my attention and stuck out to me was the dirt.
The color of the soil on the ranch matched the mud found on Sam's pickup at the car wash on December 11th. The brothers admitted that Sam had been to the property multiple times. But then came the most shocking revelation, one that would turn the entire case on its head.
The brothers explained that Sam had a mobile home on this property that he used as a place to bring women and be romantically involved with and things.
One of the brothers revealed that on December 9th, he revealed a text from Sam asking him to come out and burn some trash. He agreed, thinking nothing of it, and didn't press for details. But what investigators uncovered next was far more terrifying than anything they'd anticipated.
There was flames in the air about 10 feet high, and he yelled at him that he needed to leave, but he didn't immediately leave. So that became our first stop. Mr. Martinez showed us where the burn pit was. It was a very large, probably 125 to 150 foot diameter area where it looked like things of all sorts had been burned at some point. Within 5 or 10 minutes of sifting through the very top portion of the dirt, we began to find very small pieces of white fragmented bone that appeared to be human in nature.
The evidence suggested that something horrific had taken place on that property. But then came the most damning discovery, one that would shatter everything.
We were able to confirm that those were human bone fragments. One search and rescue told us that the cadaver dogs did alert to a pond through a wooded area.
The brothers had explained that they had seen Sam traveling back and forth towards this area multiple times while the fire was going.
It was too shallow and muddy for divers to go in such as they would a lake, so we were going to have to actually drain the pond. What was ultimately found were bone fragments, a single projectile that was misshapen from an extremely hot process, and there was also jewelry.
They took the jewelry to Mandy's mother, who instantly recognized each piece as her daughter's. The confirmation hit hard, and Mandy was gone, leaving her family devastated. To solidify the identification, investigators also compared the recovered teeth from the burn pits with Mandy's dental records, and it was undeniable.
I was in shock the whole time. I couldn't believe any of this was happening. She was my sister. It was very hard to find out that I was never going to see her again.
While Mandy's family grieved for their loss, the investigators began to gather evidence against their possible suspect, her husband, Sam. Forensic experts had managed to extract footage from the DVR of their home surveillance system and carefully examined the videos for any signs that could explain what really happened to Mandy. What they found in it was nothing short of a horror movie. Despite Sam's efforts to cover his tracks, he had left one thing that could blow the entire case with him at the very center of it.
Sam did his very best to delete as much as possible, but it is very difficult to delete everything.
There was a camera that looked in the backyard in between the back of the main house and the office shed.
The camera had captured a critical moment at 11:54 p.m. on December 8th, one that would soon become a key piece for solving Mandy's murder mystery.
Mandy ran from the residence into the office shed. The video and pictures tell us that he chased after her.
It was clearly visible that Mandy was sprinting from the residence into the shed, and Sam was chasing after her.
Shortly after that, we saw Sam Bird moving about.
Shortly after that, Sam was seen leaving, then returning moments later wearing only his underwear. His strange behavior was peculiar to the situation, and it didn't go unnoticed. Investigators then turned to the footage from the following day, December 9th, where he was seen doing something odd during the day and even at night.
Sam was going back and forth between the main house into the shed. In the afternoon, as we're watching Sam, he has a power washer and that he's using it in the area between the house and the shed. Later in the afternoon, about 5:30, he hunches over in the yard as if he's about to vomit. So at 7:45, he disables the porch light that was illuminating the backyard.
And that allowed him to not be seen by neighbors or by people driving down the road.
And it appears that he's moving some stuff around the area where his truck is and around the shed.
He then unplugs the cameras, dismantling his own security system in an attempt to erase any evidence of what happened to Mandy. But he missed one crucial detail, which became the holy grail for the officers, leading to the biggest breakthrough.
The interesting thing about some of these systems is that when it sees movement, it will take a snapshot and send it to your mobile device.
It's got a screenshot of the beginning of the video. If you delete the video itself, it doesn't delete those same thumbnails.
We were able to locate 4 photos.
Mandy is running. It's kind of hard to make her out because her image of her body is in motion. We don't see Sam in that photo. The next one, we see Sam crouched over on the right side of the frame. We see legs. We see a pool of what appears to be blood on the other end of the room. There's also, looks like a shattered piece of wood that's near that small pool of blood by that desk.
In the snapshots, it was clear that Sam had committed an unthinkable act.
We see Mandy's body pulled a little bit farther away from the door into frame. He's crouched over her. You see obvious trauma around the head area and a significant amount of blood. The next photo is him out. He's just in his underwear. He's stepping around Mandy. We see a huge amount of blood.
We have 4 photos of the actual murder itself occurring inside the shed. And we now know that Sam Bird had committed the murder and taken the life of Mandy Gordan.
With all the damning evidence, Sam was charged with felony murder of his partner, Mandy.
Happy that surveillance video worked, that the cameras actually recorded.
The images that were collected from Sam's phone were crucial in his conviction. Him standing over Mandy in the shed. And with video and surveillance from the gas stations that he drove past to get to the ranch where he disposed of her, it was essential to the investigation.
Although he didn't provide any reason or details about the murder, the police had their own theory.
On the day that Mandy was murdered, she got home on the 8th, went inside, had some sort of conversation with Sam Bird.
There was an argument, and I'm sure it's about their relationship.
I believe this very much angered Sam, who retrieved a pistol, threatened Mandy with the pistol. I believe at that point, Mandy ran from the residence into the office shed. He chased after her, followed her to the back of the shed. Most likely, he struck her on top of the head with the butt of the pistol.
He hit her in the corner of the room. I think that's what broke the pistol, and I think that's what caused that amount of blood. And I think as she left, he shot her. Shot her in the head, and she dropped right where we see her in the screenshots.
Once Sam took Mandy's life, I don't believe he had a specific plan. He needed to hide her body.
Sam's own surveillance system captured him cleaning up after the murder. Later, he's seen disabling the cameras and loading Mandy's body into his truck, unaware he's just recorded the very evidence that would expose him.
He was able to get Mandy into the bed of his truck, load all of this stuff up on top of her so she wouldn't be seen, drove her body to the burn pit at the ranch in Bastrop, used gasoline to pour over, continuously set fire to her body, reducing it to small bone fragments and ash.
They found no evidence that Josiah Bird, his brother, or Rachel Buckley were involved in the crime. They also found no evidence to suggest that the brothers were engaged in shady business practices.
The only charges that were brought were against Sam Bird. Rachel Buckley was utilized as a witness. Josiah Bird was also used as a witness. The business partners were also involved as witnesses. All roads led back to Sam Bird, and he was the one charged with Mandy's murder.
On November 14th, 2022, 3 years after the incident, Samuel Bird was charged with Mandy's murder, and he pled guilty. Following his plea, he received a 45-year imprisonment sentence. As of now, he's serving his sentence at Mark W. Stiles Unit in Beaumont, Texas. While his parole eligibility date is scheduled for June 2042, his projected release date is December 2064.
I need to know. It's okay. I want to know the truth, okay?
I can tell you.
Okay.
This was the moment when a mother realized her son was a wanted killer who had brutally taken the life of 21-year-old Johnia Berry.
I noticed you finally had a knife. I kept stabbing and stabbing. I remember trying to defend myself like this with my hands, and that's where I got the cuts on my hands.
He stabbed her so many times. This wasn't a person who was just trying to get one stab in and run away and grab a car.
This was the most horrific thing I've seen. It's something that I'll never forget.
I've heard so many people's lives.
Knox County 911.
Hey, yes, Mr. Wiseman, you remember at Cedar Bluff Road?
Mm-hmm.
There's a man that just walked in the store. He's heavily bloodied. Looks like he's been in a fight.
Does he need an ambulance?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Okay, can I talk to him, please?
Sure, he wants to talk.
All right, what's your name?
Jason Amami.
Jason?
Amami.
Now what happened?
I just felt somebody stab me right in my chest.
Somebody stabbed you?
Me in my face. And that's the first thing I did was get up and run. His roommate's still in there. Apparently somebody broke into his house.
Is his roommate okay?
He doesn't know. Is he okay? He was screaming very loud.
Now, where's your address at?
Redora Road.
Redora?
RHODORA.
RHO?
Park Apartment.
This 911 call came from a store clerk just minutes after 22-year-old Jason A. Mammy ran in, barefoot and bleeding. He had a stab wound on his face, his hands were cut up, and blood was soaking through his shirt. But he wasn't just asking for help for himself. He said his roommate was still inside, with the attacker. Knox County Sheriff's Department responded immediately and arrived at the apartment complex on Rodora Drive.
When the call came out, we then went to the apartment complex to check on the girl and kind of see what we could find there.
When the police entered the building, they found Johnia Berry lying face down near the front door. She'd been stabbed many times, with over 25 wounds covering her neck, chest, and arms. She was still alive, but barely hanging on.
She made some noises, but she never said anything. She never came out with any words. I'm thinking, how could one human being do this to another human being?
The amount of blood in the building told its own story, a grim reminder of how urgent her condition was. Soon the ambulance arrived, and they carefully lifted her onto the stretcher, rushing her to the hospital. Jason had been stabbed too and was taken to the hospital for treatment. Johnia was rushed away in a separate ambulance, but she never made it. Johnia died in the back of the ambulance, just minutes away from the hospital. Her body was taken for an autopsy. Before police arrived at the scene, another 911 call came in. A neighbor had heard banging on his door and yelling outside his apartment. He thought someone might be trying to break in.
Knox County 911.
Yeah, I hear a lot of noise outside my apartment. There was a lot of banging on the door and right downstairs. Now I hear some sort of yelling.
Mm-hmm.
It's someone else.
Do you see anybody outside?
I look out the people. Yep.
What's your name? Just hung up on me.
When the detectives talked to him, they tried to get as much information as they could, but he didn't have much to share. He said he hadn't seen anything. What he didn't know was that Johnia had collapsed just outside his apartment, out of sight, near the bottom of the door.
It's hard to imagine that somebody couldn't hear somebody knocking on the door, but of course she's bleeding out, so I don't know how much she could really pound on somebody's door.
Meanwhile, a team of detectives was at the crime scene, combing through the apartment inch by inch.
How bloody was this crime scene?
There was blood in not only in Jonna's bedroom, Jason's bedroom, blood in the living room, blood on the back door, blood out the back of the apartment going down the stairs.
Looked like there had been some type of fight in Jonna's bedroom.
As investigators moved through the apartment, following the blood trail from room to room, they started piecing together how brutal the night must have been. In the middle of it all, they found something else.
Inside Jason Amamy's bedroom, investigators recovered a piece of cardboard that had a partial shoe print on it.
The Atlanta Braves hat, the CD case, all of those things were leading us to believe that someone else possibly had entered the apartment, since these things did not belong to either one of the occupants of the apartment.
The murder weapon was discovered in the hallway directly outside of Jonna's bedroom. What stood out to me the most about the weapon is how damaged it was. The handle was broken, the blade was bent. I could only assume that it had hit bone, that it was used multiple times, that it was very violent just given the force to break the handle.
The knife and blood samples from the crime scene were carefully collected for investigation. A bloody footprint was also found on a piece of cardboard lying near the door. The knife was sent to the lab for testing. Blood samples were submitted as well. However, due to a technical glitch, the DNA results were delayed. All anyone could do now was wait. With the crime scene processed and the evidence collected, the next step was understanding exactly what had been done to Johnia and Jason. That answer came from the medical examiner when the autopsy results came in. But it wasn't just Johnia who'd suffered. The report also detailed Jason's injuries, deep wounds, defensive marks, and signs that he too had been violently attacked. He had fought to survive.
Jason Amamy was just trying to survive, and I would think that most people would want to get away from whatever's happening to him. But we also wondered, why did the attacker let him get away? How did she not get away if he was able to get away? That raises a red flag, that Jason was able to get away. Plus, there was no forced entry into the apartment.
With Jason still in the hospital, unable to explain what happened that night, the detectives turned to Johnia's family for answers. What they heard surprised them.
Jason was stabbed also, but Jonna's brothers and her dad wondered why Jason didn't help her.
Johnia's brother and father couldn't shake the feeling that something just wasn't right from the beginning. They had doubts about Jason, who had been there that night in the very apartment where it all happened, someone they thought would have protected her, or at the very least, tried harder to save her. And slowly, detectives started to see what the family was seeing.
I have a lot of suspicion about Jason Amamy. In my mind, he's a suspect, and so we have to talk to him.
And then came something even more unsettling. The knife used to kill Johnia hadn't been brought in by the killer. It came from her own kitchen right there inside the apartment.
We knew right away that the knife came from inside the home. It was part of a matching set that was from the kitchen.
That detail changed the tone of the entire investigation, because now it no longer looked like a random intruder had made their way in. It looked like someone who already knew the space, who moved through it with ease, who didn't need to break in because they already belonged there. And just like that, Jason Amamy wasn't just the roommate anymore. He was someone the detectives had to start looking at very, very carefully. By this time, Jason's health had improved enough for investigators to bring him in for an interview. The first question they asked was about his relationship with Johnia.
A couple things I wanted to go over with you about the two of you. So as far as you and John are concerned, has there ever been chemistry between the two of you?
I've always thought of John as a friend. I've never thought of dating her at all.
He said that they were just roommates.
How long have you known her?
I've known her for probably at least over 5 years.
Okay. Did you guys ever date?
No.
Never?
No. I was living in Knoxville and she needed a place to stay, so I said I'd be happy to let you live with me. That wouldn't be a problem.
Jason walked investigators through the events leading up to the crime that night.
She probably went to sleep about 10:30. I probably went to sleep 12:30 around there.
What do you remember after that?
I just remember waking up, hearing screams. I looked at my alarm clock. I believe I remember seeing a 4, so probably at 4 a.m. sometime.
But he soon explained why it didn't seem unusual at the time.
She told me when she first moved in, she said, if I wake up and I'm scared or something, just come in and check on me, make sure I'm okay.
Things took a chilling turn when Jason went to check on Johnia and saw a shadowy figure backing out of her bedroom.
He was on top of me. I just remember fighting with him. He punched me in my face. I kept telling him, I was like, what do you want? He just kept telling me, shut up, shut up. And then I felt a sharp pain right here, and that's when I knew he had a knife.
A violent struggle broke out between Jason and the unknown suspect.
As soon as I was able to do anything, he grabbed me and threw me down in my bed. And I was doing whatever I could to get out of the way of the knife. And there's one time I grabbed it and I felt this serrated part cut through my fingers. And next thing I know is I had a clear shot to my bedroom door and I just went as fast as I could.
Investigators kept questioning him to piece together what really happened that night.
You ran out of the apartment. Did you take anything with you?
I didn't even think about it.
What were you wearing?
I was wearing blue workout shorts, which I wore to the gym, and a pair of boxers.
Okay.
And that's all I was wearing. I just ran straight out the door and right across the street. And I was banging on some of the doors at the other complex.
At last, they asked the most crucial question. Jason had seen Johnia's killer up close. Did he remember what he looked like?
Let's just go through what this guy looks like.
He's got short hair, kind of like mine. It's like a brownish blonde color.
Jason not only described the suspect, but also agreed to offer details for a composite sketch.
Tom's going to help you with the composite.
Using Jason's description, police created a photorealistic computer composite of the suspect. The sketch was widely circulated, hoping someone would recognize him, but the police hadn't ruled out Jason. Something about his story just didn't sit right.
They weren't the kinds of wounds that Johnia had sustained, specifically a deep incised wound on his right ring finger. That was suspicious in nature.
Did he stab Johnia and his finger slide down the knife and cut his finger? Or was it an actual defensive wound that he sustained during the fight?
That was a problem for me in terms of who could have done this.
Also, the murder weapon was taken from their house, so Jason obviously had access to it. Based on this and other evidence, police decided to take Jason back to the crime scene on December 9th to see if his story held up.
The door was locked. Johnia was sitting right here. My door was totally closed to my room. I woke up just from my sleep here, and I remember walking this way.
Jason's account of the crime scene was consistent with his earlier statements during interrogation.
I'm still looking down, and I remember doing this and having him face me and grab me like this. And then he pushed me back this way, and I fell on the bed like this. And that's at the point to where I noticed he finally had a knife. I remember trying to defend myself like this with my hands, and that's where I got the cuts on my hands.
And Jason described pushing them back towards the wall of the bedroom. That information was corroborated by blood smear on the drywall.
He went on to explain the situation thoroughly.
As I ran through here and got the door open, I just ran. I didn't even stop in here. I ran down through here and down these stairs. And I saw a figure come from behind this little cabana here and kneel down in between one of these bushes here on the other side of the pool. And it was kind of like somebody going walking on the bed.
Jason then described how he came to be at the convenience store.
I got behind the car, started yelling at the door. They didn't even stop. I remember going just right next to these bushes. I remember yelling right about this point right here. And then when I got to the door here, I looked inside, noticed the clerk. I got to hear and told him to get help.
The cops were starting to believe his story, but they weren't completely sold yet.
The walkthrough was he felt like he was being pursued, and you kind of started to understand how and why he made it all the way to the 24-hour convenience store before he could summon help.
Just as investigators struggled to make sense of Jason's version of events, they received some unexpected information.
We got a tip a few streets over from the apartment complex that an individual had been involved in some crimes, some thefts, and that led us to an individual named Michael Percival.
Michael lived within just a few miles of Johnia's apartment. Police wasted no time and went to check Michael's trailer. The first thing they noticed there raised immediate suspicion.
When we went into the trailer to talk to him, the carpet cleaner was sitting there next to the living room.
A carpet cleaner might not seem suspicious on its own, but it raised red flags when found in the home of a murder suspect. Investigators began to wonder if it had been used to clean something far more sinister, perhaps even blood. Police discovered Michael's shoes in the house, and they made a shocking discovery.
She kind of elbowed me and showed me the tread, and we were both kind of like, holy cow, this could really be, the shoes.
I saw Captain Hall, and he said, we've got him. He still had the shoes, Kevin. He still had the shoes.
The shoes matched the sole pattern to the prints found at the crime scene. They were identical. This gave investigators new hope that they might be closer to solving the case. They brought Michael in for questioning and sent the shoes for further analysis. During the interrogation, Michael made a surprising confession. He claimed he was only an eyewitness to the crime, not directly involved in it.
When we start questioning him about the homicide, he says that he was involved in the homicide. He says that it was drug-related, that Jason, Amy, and John had owed money to the drug dealer, and the drug dealer went over there to collect the money, and the drug dealer went inside the apartment to collect drug money from them. Michael Percival stayed in the car. The drug dealer was in there for a long period of time, so Michael went in to see what was going on and walked in on the drug dealer stabbing Johnia and Jason.
As promising as it seemed to the police, it would soon turn out to be a letdown.
But it turns out that the shoe was sent to the lab for the purposes of examination, and the wear patterns were completely inconsistent with the wear patterns of the shoe print that was recovered in Jason Amy's bedroom.
Investigators learned that Michael had a tendency to seek attention and mental issues, which explained why he got involved with the police, and that was all. The drug angle was also eventually dismissed after it was confirmed that neither Jason nor Johnia had any involvement with drugs.
There was nothing to indicate at all that Jason or Johnia were involved in drugs, so it was very inconsistent with what we knew about the victims.
The cops were back to square one, but Johnia's mother and other family members were doing everything they could to seek justice.
I would leave Atlanta and I would drive to Knoxville on my days off work, and I would go around apartment complexes, parking lots, anywhere I could, and put flyers out about Johnia's murder and that it hadn't been solved.
Johnia Berry is calling us and every other TV station, blanketing the community, keeping the word out about her daughter, doing all she can, plus working full time.
With the investigation at a standstill, police focused back on Jason. They requested that he undergo a polygraph test, which he consented to. Initially, he remained calm and collected, responding to questions with precision.
Do you know for sure who caused the death of Johnia Berry? No. Did you have prior knowledge that the person who stabbed Johnia would be at your apartment that night? No.
However, things began to shift once the polygrapher started asking direct questions about the murder.
Jason, I want you to listen to me.
Yes.
I think you're a smart boy, but you did a part on that test.
Did I really?
You really did.
Why do you think you failed the test? I don't know. I was 100% truthful.
The cops were not prepared for Jason's reaction.
But I've been doing this for a long time, and there's something that you have not told me. Did you stab that girl?
No, I did not stab her at all.
Did you get just angry, perhaps, over something that she said or something that happened there?
Never.
And you just lashed out?
Never.
All I'm trying to determine is the truth.
And I'm
getting my point, Jason, that you haven't told the truth.
Where am I lying then? I have told you the 100% truth. Are you saying I did it?
I'm saying it certainly looks like it.
I don't have anything to do with it. I don't care what that box says. I voluntarily took this. If I had something to hide, why would I take this test? Why would I get DNA? Why would I do this?
Calm down.
I'm getting mad here. I ain't
You
getting
don't need to get
upset.
mad. Calm down.
I feel like a suspect
Calm
now.
down. Calm down.
What happened next surprised the investigators. Jason had failed the polygraph test. Just when things were beginning to look bleak for Jason, something happened that could hold the key to his guilt, or, as he hoped, his innocence. The results of the DNA testing on the murder weapon and blood from the crime scene had returned.
We end up finding out that Jason Amamy's DNA is there in the apartment, Johnia's DNA is there in the apartment, and then we have a third unknown. So we have an unknown person that was there.
This was huge news, as it confirmed what Jason had said about there being another individual in the house that night. The unknown DNA was from a male, but the police still believed Jason could be involved, as the failed polygraph lingered in their minds. They decided to recheck the results of his polygraph, and they noticed something shocking.
The polygrapher said that he failed the test. When we had two other polygraphers look at the results, they basically said that he passed the test.
The police now had even less evidence pointing to Jason. Ultimately, when the shoe print and partial fingerprint on the knife were not matched to him as well, he was cleared of suspicion completely. With no other suspects, the cops tested the unknown DNA profile against the system, but found no matches. With this, they were out of leads to chase, and slowly, the case appeared to be growing cold. But while the police were struggling to find new avenues to investigate, Johnia's family was doing their best to make a change. When the unknown profile returned no matches, Johnia's parents were distraught. But then they learned that in the state of Tennessee, people arrested for violent crimes did not have their DNA taken to be stored in the system, and soon their pain turned into purpose.
Joan and Mike had been lobbying the legislature for the Johnia Berry Act to change the DNA laws here in Tennessee, which would allow DNA profiles to be taken from people arrested for violent crimes. The Berrys were able to successfully get that legislation passed.
But while this was a huge victory for the parents, they were still no closer to learning who their daughter's killer could possibly be. In 2007, 3 years after Johnia's murder, there were still no answers. Her family had been on television, offered a reward, and displayed the composite sketch of the suspect on billboards and trucks across the country. The police had received a number of tips, but none of them had ever panned out. Then in April, when nearly all hope seemed lost, the police received a tip that had the potential to change everything.
Someone's driving by, and he just happens to look up at the billboard with that composite sketch, and it rings a bell. It's somebody that looks familiar to him. He calls the sheriff's office. The man said, I know this person. He's actually a friend of mine. His name is Taylor Olson.
They had a name, but they'd received names before that had not led to anything. When they looked up Taylor Lee Olson, they saw that he had a past record that only included minor petty crimes. But when they compared him to the composite sketch, the similarity was striking. They also learned that he lived only 15 minutes away from the crime scene at the time of the murder. The detectives were now beginning to hope that they'd finally found their man, and then they learned something that encouraged them to make their move.
He also had an outstanding warrant for his arrest out of another jurisdiction. We arrested him, asked him about the crime. He said knew nothing about it, remembered seeing something about it on the news back then, but nothing since then. He was asked to voluntarily submit a sample of his DNA, which he did, and then he was transported to jail for the outstanding warrant.
With his DNA now in evidence, they were quick to send it for testing against the unknown sample from the crime scene. The results would take a few months to return, but in September 2007, they finally did, and they were well worth the wait. It was a perfect match. With the DNA match, the detectives were now sure they had their man. All that remained was to bring Taylor in for an interrogation and give him the chance to explain why his DNA was at the crime scene. But as he was being brought in, the detectives made sure he had no idea he was there to be questioned about the murder of Johnia Berry, as they believed it was their best strategy to get a confession.
Do you know why you're here?
Pretty much.
What for?
Guys accused me of breaking into his house and stealing a bunch of steel.
Had you ever heard about the Johnia Berry homicide case before?
Mm-hmm.
So you'd never seen Johnia Berry before?
Like, in person?
Yeah.
No, I've never met her.
The detectives had hoped that the mention of Johnia would catch him off guard, but Taylor had seemed calm and denied ever knowing her. So the detectives decided to make a daring revelation.
After I sent your sample off to the TBI lab, they got us a report back. It's a match for your DNA being in Johnia Berry's apartment.
Is this a joke?
No.
Like, I really don't know anything about it.
No, trust me, it's not a joke. Is there any reason that you can explain your blood being in Johnia Berry's apartment?
My blood was in Johnia Berry's apartment.
Right.
You serious?
Yeah.
You think I killed someone?
I'm just talking about the evidence, is what I'm talking about.
I've never killed anyone.
So we're here to give you an opportunity.
Okay.
To, tell us what happened, why you were there,
Dude.
And why your blood was there.
I have never been there. I don't know killers. I haven't killed no one. I've never killed anybody. Never.
We have your blood there.
So I'm pretty much, huh?
And giving you the opportunity to explain.
I don't have an explanation.
What happened?
After hearing about the DNA, and as reality began to dawn upon him, Taylor seemed to get visibly flustered. However, in that first interview, he stuck to his story and pretended he didn't know anything. But over the next 3 days, the detectives would continue to interrogate him, and slowly, cracks began to appear in his facade. As the interrogations progressed, Taylor found a new way to excuse his DNA being there, complete denial of any memory of the event at all.
Why don't you tell me what happened when you were inside?
I don't know.
You do know, Taylor.
Well, obviously, I killed some person.
How come?
I don't know.
Were they awake?
I don't know. I don't have a clue. I don't remember. I don't know.
Then eventually, after 3 days of this, the detectives had had enough. They decided to try and put some serious pressure on him and see if he'd crack.
Taylor, I've been sitting out here in the hallway listening to this you're talking about, and I'm just about sick of it. You know what happened to this girl? Look at this. You were there. You know what happened to her. We know you were there. The evidence shows you were there. Why did you do this to this girl? Huh? Oh my God. Why'd you do that?
Seeing the crime scene photos had done the trick, Taylor couldn't face the sheer horror of his act. He finally broke down and began sharing his own account of the night of the murder.
Me and Noah went out and jacked a CD player out of a car, and we kind of got lost from each other, and someone came out when we were breaking into cars and yelled at us, ran off. I didn't know where the hell he was.
The mention of his friend, Noah Cox, made the detectives' ears stand up. They wondered if Taylor was trying to shift blame onto someone else, but it seemed that this wasn't the case. Next, he'd explain how he'd ended up inside the apartment.
How'd you get into the apartment? Just checking doors, and you found that door open?
Yeah. I was just looking for a set of keys with, a little alarm thing on them so I could just beep, beep, find the car, go home.
And then what?
I went in the bedroom and someone said, "Who are you?" or "What are you doing?" or something. And I was like, chill out. And I just heard like a yell.
But what he'd say next would reveal the true horror of what had unfolded that night.
Just felt the pain.
Where'd you feel the pain at? Right there? Then what happened?
I freaked out. And I don't know. And I can't believe this happened.
You got the knife away from that person and just went kind of crazy?
Yeah. I guess they were sleeping with it. I just freaked out. And I ran.
Taylor said Johnia had tried to stab him, and he'd retaliated in a frenzied rage, but he still made no mention of Jason. What he'd say next would leave them floored.
I didn't even remember anything about the guy until the news said it was 2 people. I didn't realize everyone got hurt like that.
Did you just go in there and things just went wrong?
I really don't know her, man. I've never met her.
It was clear now that the murder had not been premeditated, but was a robbery that had turned into a bloodbath. Finally, after 3 grueling days of interrogation, they had their confession. Before charging Taylor, the detectives gave him the chance to come clean to his own family.
Would you rather talk to your mom on the telephone, or would you rather talk to her in person?
I'd like to see her.
A few hours later, his mother and sister would make their way into the interrogation room, not knowing the heartbreak that awaited them.
What happened, Tay? The truth. Taylor, I love you.
It was an accident.
Are you sure, Taylor? Taylor, I need to know. It's okay. I want to know the truth, okay?
I could tell you.
Okay.
Taylor's mother was visibly shaken to learn her son was a wanted murderer. At first, she seemed to be searching for some way to disprove it.
When did you tell him the truth? How did that come about?
I got my blood's on the knife, and my blood's like in
Then
the
why did
back
they
door.
let you go? Did they get the DNA back? Okay, and it matches? Taylor, okay. Listen, I'm going to help you. I want to make sure that this is for real and that you did it. No, I don't know.
But then, as the truth began to set in, her distress became evident, and she looked to give her son a message of hope.
Taylor, I want you to know something. I want you to start praying because there is a God. Do you hear? And He loves you and will forgive if this is true.
I'm so sorry, Mom.
Taylor.
After he came clean to his family, Taylor Lee Olson was arrested for the murder of Johnia Berry and the attack on Jason A. Mammy. But before he was taken away, he was faced by the press, and his reaction to their questions made the truth of the matter clear for all to see.
Did you mean to kill her? Why did you do it? Was it an accident? But you stabbed her 26 times.
With Taylor arrested and in jail awaiting trial, the justice and closure Johnia's friends and family had been longing for seemed to be near at hand. But then, soon before the trial was set to start, Taylor did something that shook the lives of everyone involved in the case.
I received a phone call from Brad, the detective. Jonah, he said Taylor Olson committed suicide last night. He hung himself in his jail cell.
However, in his final note, Taylor had once again tried to argue his innocence and pin the blame on someone the investigators had heard of before. In his note, he blamed Noah Cox, the friend with whom he'd been trying to steal a car on the night of the murder. But when the cops looked into Noah, he willingly provided a DNA sample, and no evidence was found that could link him to the murder. He was cleared of all suspicion, and with that, the case came to its final conclusion. For Johnia's family, Taylor's manner of death was all they needed to know about whether he was guilty or not.
I read a bunch of letters that I didn't do it and hung himself. That's a coward's admission of guilt.